all are actually sitting in such a rich resource that you all also have to play a key role to make that happen. It can't happen only if Delhi wants or only if, the Secretariat of the various state governments of Northeast wants. It has to be the people who have to be involved. So my brief introduction is, I have been in this consumer awareness and education program for the last 40 years. I started from a city called Jamshedpur. Most of you will know that is one of the first steel plants which was set up in the country, was in that city. And Tatas were the people who were courageous enough at that point of time to be a startup, to start a steel plant. And when the Britishers heard, don't fiddle around with the light. Let people's face be seen. Because there are people who are also joined us virtually. So a warm welcome to all of you who all have joined us virtually. And we are missing few of you here, even though you had promised, Rajat, you had promised that you would be here with us, but you skipped and you managed to wriggle out. Whereas I was very anxious to meet you in person. I came all the way from Hyderabad to Guwahati to meet people like you all, but then you couldn't make it, doesn't matter. But you are still there. I can see you smiling. I don't know what is behind you. Is that a retail shop or what is it?
It's a screen shot, sir.
Oh, this is all the Amway products are displayed, is it? Fantastic.
I think this is a screenshot, sir, from the web. So I think they're books, perhaps.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they should have been Amway products. Yes.
You got the message. That's good. That's good. So very nice to have you also virtually. So a lot of my friends are there virtually, I can see, and I'm very happy to welcome them. So Rajat, we'll wait for the key speakers to arrive when we'll start the formal round. So having said that, so after 40 years, I'm still struggling to get the consumers in the forefront, because consumers are the people who pay. Whether you pay out of pocket or you pay from the taxpayers' money, but you pay to access a product or a service of your choice. Many a times this choice is not given to you, it is denied. And many a times you have a choice, but you don't know what to choose, because you may not be aware about its quality and potency, and you get carried away by advertisements which promise you certain things, which actually in practice doesn't deliver. So what do? And then you get into a lot of knots and a lot of challenges. So today we're going to talk on some of those issues. And I'll share with you also my experience of 40 years, what has happened in the consumer movement, how we have moved forward, and things like that. And I will be very happy to listen to all of you, because our topic today is consumer awareness in the Northeast region. So in the Northeast region, Assam, of course, always has been the leader, and economically is the most well-to-do state, let me put it this way, and developing state. So whatever we decided, or we will take it over here. Ramdilani has to, yeah, okay. Please keep your mic muted so that there is no echo. So the bottom line is, as I said, I would like to also know who all are in this room, how do we do it, do the conversation and make it together. So we will talk at length about what is the direction we will move. I'll start with Professor. Can you pass on the mic so that people can introduce quickly?
Good morning. I'm Dr. Harvey, the Vice Chancellor of North University, because and perhaps to represent other educational institutions in the region, how we can participate and work out in this awareness approach that we have, especially for consumers of this region, with that decision. That's all I'd like to say for now. Later, I should interact.
Good morning. I am Dr. Subhash Chandra. I'm a surgeon. I'm a minimal access and robotic surgeon, and I'm also chairman of the health committee of ICC. I'm attached as a professor to some universities, also run private hospitals. That's a short introduction. I'll come back to you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am Shantika Mazarika. I'm the founder director of the Sons of Management and was the ex-chairman of the Board of Secondary Education, SAM. And here I'm in the capacity of the chairman of the Education Committee of ICC.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ram Prakashi. I'm heading to company. I'm the CEO for our first Northeast-based organic certification body, which is the first company which has combined with Northeast. Earlier, before, most of the companies were coming from Bangalore, Delhi, and upper North India. And I'm also heading as a project and business head for a pharmaceutical company, which belongs to Dhanuka Group. Thank you very much.
Namaskar, everyone. I am Ramakant Jha. I am here representing Darwin Society. We have been into many implementation of government schemes and policies across various activities since 2005. Predominantly, we have been and kind of an interface between the consumer and the government, and where there is a multiple checks happening at all levels on customer awareness and satisfaction. So I was fortunate to be invited for this forum to see how we can take things on, understand on that. We have been implementing government policies on PMFM, which is the Prime Minister's Foundation of Micro Food Processing, agriculture ACABC scheme, which is meant for creating agripreneurs. So we have been actively involved in establishing entrepreneurs, agripreneurs in Northeast. Exclusively in Assam, we have been given some assignments. And the point here is to see how we can take and how we can understand that whatever we are doing in that the customer awareness and the protection of their interests is being taken care of by implementing our services. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joyita Rajpal. I am the assistant professor of AEF Law College. I have done my master's specializing in consumer protection law from the National University, Assam. I am very thankful for inviting me for this opportunity. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Pankaj Kumar. I am senior manager in Central Bank of India, Bangalore branch. I am very glad to come here and learn anything.
Good morning, all. I am Sanjeev Kumar Deka. I am from NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation Limited, and I am working in the capacity of manager. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is C.G. Ramo, Charles Ramo. I am the Secretary of Supply, East Assam District, Shillong, National.
Good morning, everybody. My name is K.S. Kurba. I am the Superintendent of Food Supply from East Kashmir, Shillong.
Good morning. I'm Deepak Malakar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Commerce, Mechanics, Open University, and also member of Food Safety and Consumer Protection Committee.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Meenakshi Sharma Davas. I'm originally from Guwahati itself. I am based in Delhi, and I'm a lawyer by profession. I head the food safety and consumer affairs practice in our group, which is corporate law group. It's a law firm, and I have been practicing in this area for the last 15 to 18 years. And I also am a member of this committee, ICC, the Committee of Consumer Affairs, and I'll be happy to contribute in any possible way to take this forward. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I am Kamal Vara. I am a student.
Good morning. My name is Latif Chaudhary, and I'm building Amber Business Center. Thank you.
Good morning, I am Prashant Sharma. I am involved with MO since last 17 years. I am doing very seriously. Thank you.
Good morning, I am Dr. Dilip Sharma, homeopathic doctor, and simultaneously I am doing MO business. I am a writer, publisher, and trustee of Media Trust of Assam.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Surajit Hajarika. Basically, I'm from Jorhat, Assam. And last 20 years, I'm involved with MO business. I'm an entrepreneur with the direction company MO. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Vikramjit Paul, the Amway official based out here. I've been with Amway for the past 20 years, seeing the Amway, the path of growth out here. So that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Ishanta Shobhamande. I'm the regional director here in India Chamber of Commerce. I take care of the secretariat in Northeast States. Thank you.
Just been joined by the chairman. Please pass the mic.
I'm extremely sorry. Today, because the escape got a very bad traffic in Bordeaux. At railway gate.
Yes, sir.
Another 45 minutes I had to wait there. So whatever plan I had done, taking question for half an hour, that went very well. Anyway, gentlemen, very nice to see all of you here in this very important roundtable. Okay, okay. Right. Okay. So my name is Sarath Kumar Jain. I took over as chairman of ICC Assam State Council about 4 months back. And so far my business is concerned, I'm representing SM Group as CMD. Thank you.
Yeah, now we will go to our participants who are virtually there. So please come one by one by giving your short introduction. I can see Rajat. Rajat, can you start and then we go to OPEC Gaon, Mr. OPEC Gaon and others who are there. Rajat, the mic is yours.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Well, very good morning to everyone. So delighted and honored to be in this meeting. I must confess that I do have Guwahati roots. I'm from Guwahati Commerce College from the 86 batch, and I've always tried to be there in Guwahati whenever we've held such meetings in person. Unfortunately, we have a board meeting in the association that I'm the chairman of today at 2 p.m. And this is something, it is a statutory requirement which drew me to Delhi. So my apologies to everyone, especially Bijon sir and Tarali in Guwahati. Well, I've been in Amway for the last 22 years in 3 different roles as such: communications, CSR, and now corporate affairs. I am the Vice President Corporate Affairs in Amway. And as I did briefly mention, I'm the chairman of something called the Indian Direct Selling Association. In my presentation today, I'll be happy to share data of both, some information of both when I have the time. Thank you so much.
Very good. Can we have others to join? Mr. OPEC Gaon, Mr. Sumesh. I can see you all. Kindly unmute and come and give your brief introduction.
Hello and good morning to everyone. I'm Sumesh Krishnan. I'm Deputy Director of FSSAI. I'm currently handling the responsibilities of the Central Licensing Authority of Northeastern region. I have my office here in Kolkata. I sit here and have frequent visits to Guwahati. And I'm so delighted to be a part of this Augustus forum. And besides that, I would also like to mention here that from the FSSAI side, to protect the consumers' rights and all, we are enforcing the regulatory requirements that the food business operators needs to follow. And we have frequent sampling of the products that's in the market that we specifically zero on the basis of prone to the risk, and also the regional preferences and other various criteria that we fix on. And thank you very much. So delighted to be a part of this forum once again. Have a very good.
Yeah, anybody else wants to come in? Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Yeah, I am Sunil Saraf, a hotelier.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Just speak.
Yeah. I am Sunil Saraf. Good morning to everybody. My apologies for not being physically present in this meeting today. I am Sunil Saraf. I am from Tejpur. Right now, I am serving for the second year consecutively as the president of the Hotels and Restaurants Association of Assam, which is the apex body. We have around 180 hoteliers all over Assam, all the classified hotels 2-star and above, as members of this association. And I'm also in the task force of the Assam Tourism, constituted recently. And I've been associated with Indian Chamber of Commerce, right now serving as the chairperson of the Northeast Region Hospitality and Tourism Subcommittee. Thank you. Looking forward to meaningful deliberations from all the learned speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. We have our other participants virtually who have joined us. Can you kindly give a brief introduction about yourself so that we can not only have a look at you but also hear you. Please go ahead. You can unmute and come, please. You can unmute and come. Go ahead, please. Okay. Go ahead.
Morning, sir. I'm from Kerala, Joint Secretary, Mizoram. I'm attending virtually from my office. Today, Honorable Minister of State, Jyoti, come to Mizoram. So our Secretary and Director could not attend the meeting. So I'm attending here. I'm Kerala Rohlua, Joint Secretary from Mizoram Food Civil Supply Department. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you for taking time to come and join us. And I'm sure you will be representing your state in a very competent and able manner. Welcome again to you. Thank you. Please stay on. And we would like to hear about Mizoram's contribution in consumer awareness in the country. So please stay with us and participate in the conversation. Anybody else wants to come in? Anybody else? You recognize anybody who's important for us?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I am Opagao. I am Secretary Legal Metrology and Consumer Affairs, Arunachal Pradesh. I am in the department since last 10 months, and with me, I am having the controller, legal metrology, who are the field functionaries enforcing the XN guidelines. And then along with me, I am also having my assistant controller. Both are three of us is joining the meeting virtually. Actually, we were planning to come to Guwahati, but I am also looking after the food and civil supplies department, and there are some other unavoidable official cases, especially Supreme Court cases, which are time bound, and as just I could not come, but we are healthily joining you. And then regarding Arunachal, sir, you are well aware, we are one of the youngest state, and above all, we do not have our own industry, industrial sector. We do not have our own products. Whatever producers whatever goods we receive from the rest of India. So this is Arunachal. Thank you very much for inviting us to join you. Thank you, sir.
It's really lovely to have you. It's really lovely to have you because you play a very critical role, being looking after legal metrology. You know that you all are the one who build the credibility in the supply chain in terms of quality, quantity, packaging. You look after all such dimensions in terms of the distribution of product, that you play a very critical role. I'm very happy that you have joined us with your team, and welcome. And Arunachal Pradesh is very much a kind of a state where we are all the time very keen to learn from you all. What more can be done? What more can be done in empowering the consumers? So we would like to, even though you might not be manufacturing, but you are promoting trade in your own state by bringing products from all over the country. So you're bringing choice to the consumers. So you play a very critical role. Don't think that you don't have a critical role. You have a very critical role, and we are happy that you are here. I'm very happy that you are here. So now I'll formally hand over the mic. We've all introduced ourselves. Madam, to inform you that this house is today full of talents and knowledge. We have people from all walks of life. We have an academic person, the lady who you can see, who's done research on consumer protection law, and who's with us, and another lady who's coming all the way from Delhi because she's a person from this soil, and she's so fond of giving back to Assam what she's learned. She's also here. She is a practicing lawyer, very renowned corporate lawyer, who have come in, and of course all the others, like we have medical practitioners, we have professors, who are vice chancellor of university. It's a diverse kind of a group. And as I said in my opening remark, we are all consumers. We are all consumers. So when we are all consumers, we all have to look after ourselves, because I always say, this is my tagline, that an aware consumer is a protected consumer. If you are not aware, then you are liable to be cheated. So you have to keep yourself all the time aware. So, Dharini, can we start the formal conversation of the roundtable?
Sure. Thank you so much. So once again, a very good morning to all the ladies and gentlemen, all the dignitaries and delegates present over here. I, Tarani Sharma, on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, would like to welcome you all to this roundtable on consumer awareness in Northeastern region. This roundtable is being conducted by Indian Chamber of Commerce in association with Amway India Enterprises Private Limited and Patient Safety and Access Initiative of India Foundation in order to discuss the various dimensions of consumer awareness in terms of product and services, along with the issues and challenges faced by the regulatory authorities like Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India, Indian Direct Selling Association, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, Reserve Bank of India, and many others. So we are here to discuss about it, and we are here to find the way forward towards consumer protection in Northeast. So we are very much delighted with the presence of our esteemed dignitaries. I would like to welcome Mr. Saral Kumar Chen. He is the Chairman, ICC Assam State Council and CMD of SM Group. I would like to welcome Professor Deshan Kumar Mishra, who is the Chairman, ICC Northeast Food Safety and Consumer Protection Committee. I would like to welcome Mr. Rajat Banerjee, who has joined us virtually. He is the Chairman of Indian Association and Vice President of Corporate Affairs, Amway India Enterprises Private Limited. I'd like to welcome Professor Subhash Khanna, who is the Chairman of ICC Northeast Health Committee, and he is the CEO of the Swadat Hospital, Guwahati. I'd like to welcome Dr. Darlington Hathi, the Vice Chancellor of Northeast Christian University, Dimapur. I'd like to welcome Srimati Leena Das. She is the Additional Secretary, Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Department, Government of Assam. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Opad Gao, IS Secretary, Legal Metrology and Consumer Affairs Department, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, who has joined us virtually. And the Joint Secretary of Mizoram Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs, who has joined us virtually. So I would like to welcome all of you, the speakers of the session, the first session. And about the second session, some of the dignitaries will be joining us shortly. And right now we have with us Mr. Shantikam Hajarika. I'd like to welcome Mr. Shantikam Hajarika. He is the chairman of ICC Northeast Education Committee. I'd like to welcome Mr. Sunil Saraf, who is virtually chairman of ICC Northeast Tourism and Hospitality. Mr. Mulak Chakuria, co-chairman of ICC Handloom and Handicrafts Committee. And few dignitaries will be joining us shortly. So we would like to start the program with the felicitation of our esteemed dignitaries. For that, I would like to request Mr. Sarat Kumar Jain, Chairman of ICC Assam State Council, to kindly felicitate Madam Leena Das, the Additional Secretary, Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Department.
Jungur.
Can we have a big round of applause? Thank you so much. Now we are going to felicitate Professor Benjamin Mishra. And again, I would like to request Mr. Sarat Kumar Jain to kindly felicitate Professor Benjamin Kumar Mishra, the chairman of the ICC Northeast Food Safety and Consumer Protection Committee. Thank you very much. Now I would like to request Sarat Kumar Jain once again to kindly felicitate Dr. Darlindo Khati, the Vice Chancellor of Northeast Christian University, Dimapur. Now we are going to felicitate the Chairman of ICC Assam State Council, Mr. Sarat Kumar Jain, and for that I would like to request Professor Vijay Kumar Mishra sir to kindly felicitate Mr. Sarat Kumar Jain. Thank you so much. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we are going to felicitate the dignitaries of the session. I'd like to request Mr. Ishanto Samapandit to kindly felicitate Professor Subhash Chandra. He is the chairman of ICC Northeast Health Committee and the CEO of Swagat Hospital, Guwahati. I'd like to request Ishanto Sabapandit to kindly felicitate Mr. Shantikam Hajarika, chairman of ICC Northeast Education Committee. We would like to also convey our regards to the dignitaries who have joined virtually, Mr. Rajat Banerjee, Oba Gao, and the Joint Secretary from Mizoram who have joined us virtually. So now we are going to start the program with by taking the valuable inputs of our esteemed dignitaries. And to start with, I'd like to request Mr. Sarat Kumar Jain, Chairman ICC Assam State Council, to kindly extend a welcome address. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Warm welcome to each one of you. I'm very delighted to be
Frame
Roundtable, and which is being attended by all the multifaceted personalities from different segments. As Professor Vijay Kumar Mishra told a little earlier, that we have got a lot of talent here in this board room. So that's a really right thing to be told at the right time by Professor Mishra. So the basic objective of this roundtable is how the consumer awareness and protection can be done. As we all know, the way country is seeing the growth in the economy, the way Northeast is focused, so the importance of this consumer awareness and protection has become very, very inevitable. Consumer awareness protection was there earlier also. I don't say that importance was not there, but what is happening now, the way the growth is happening, so the consumer awareness and protection has to be taken some sort of like a campaign actually. There has to be a series of activities on a regular and sustained basis. Then only I think we can really do the justice so far the consumer is concerned. Each one of us is a consumer, each one of us is a customer, each organization is a customer. So that's why each government service sector, everywhere this consumer can come. So this is a very, very vital subject. So what we have done now, that we have shortlisted a very big objective that Indian Chamber of Commerce, ICC, this Northeast initiative, would like to build an action plan for the next 3 years in this Northeast region on consumer awareness and protection. We would also like to conduct activities in different parts of Northeast to create awareness on the guidelines of Consumer Protection Act with the support and coordination of government and relevant authorities. Our goal is to bring together bright minds to give talks that are idea focused and on a wide range of subjects to foster learning, inspiration, and wonder and provoke conversations that matter. If I say this is a movement, and I like to just conclude with my one line only: Jago Grahak Jago, Jago Grahak Jago. So that is our now should be our motto. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Mr. Sarat Kumar Jain for extending the welcome address of today's roundtable. Now, I'd like to request Professor Vijay Kumar Mishra sir to kindly extend the keynote address, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tanvi. And thanks to the Indian Chamber of Commerce for this region. Firstly, this is physically, I want to acknowledge the fact that, thank you very much. Physically, I want to thank you all because we all worked virtually. When you invited me to be the chair of this committee, all happened virtually. You know, and Isam Thirji, you will also agree that we had certain meetings, we met virtually, but this is the first time we are meeting physically. So first, I want to thank you for inviting me to chair this committee on consumer affairs and food safety. You see, whenever any invitation comes for Northeast, I never say no as a practice, never. And only because, you know, you are so beautiful people, you know, and such a beautiful state. How can anybody ever, you know, forget Northeast? You know, I always keep reminding people who are in the policy making bodies in the country or who are lawmakers in the country, I keep telling them, you know, we have some great seven sisters. And when you have these seven sisters, you know the role of brothers. You know what it is. And I am always proud when I see more and more women in Northeast are getting empowered. And today I come here to physically thank you all for giving me this opportunity. So, Sarat Kumar Jainji, all your committee members, all your members of the Northeast region, I would like to thank you all profusely for giving me this opportunity to chair this committee. I always feel also very delighted that government of Assam has come and Srimati Leena Das is representing the government of Assam amongst us. I'm sure in my opening remark, I will tell you all certain things which we plan to do for the next 3 years out of my small knowledge of 40 years in the consumer movement. And as some of you might know, I not only advise government of India on various issues, but I also advise certain state governments like Odisha and others who are taking my advice to move forward. So having said that, I would also like to, of course, give my thanks to Rajat, my very good friend, who works for Amway, and our doctor, you know, whom I met, Subhash Khannaji. You know, what a great meeting we had, and I have asked you for certain data, and I have assured you that if you give me the data, you will get payment. But if you don't give the data, the consumers will not pay you. So we'll work on that. We'll think about that, how we'll work it out. But as I always said, you know, I like to be always engaged with academic work. And again, you know, it will be inappropriate for me not to recognize today the contribution which I have got or the strength I derived from Northeast Christian University of Dimapur of Nagaland and Professor Rolando, none other but the Vice Chancellor of that university, is present today. Sir, you did me a big favor. Let me tell you, when you invited me and you said you would like to invite you as a Professor R&D. So I asked him, what R&D will I do? So he said, whatever you will do, we'll take it as a research work. And here we start. We are planning to do certain things that will work, especially in healthcare. And I happen to be on the executive committee of the General Insurance Council in the country. The government is bringing in huge reforms in the insurance sector because India is the lowest in the world in terms of insurance penetration. So you can imagine that what an opportunity we have got. And Northeast especially here in the next session, because we're going to have the insurance ombudsman coming, we're going to have the chairman of the advisory committee to the regulator, IRDAI, Mr. Acharya also will be joining us. So there will be a huge amount of conversation which will go and how we will go. So my first proposal is, Madam, you must be knowing, there is something called Consumer Welfare Fund. All of you know. Or if you don't know, let me tell you. That fund was created out of your and my money. How was it created? We used to buy products where excise used to be inbuilt in the price. And then the industry used to go back to the government saying there was a calculation error, there is an error in the calculation of excise, and they used to claim refund from the government on excise. And they used to take that money back, which you have already paid. And that money, instead of coming back to you, which you have paid, it used to stay in the industry. Can you imagine? मतलब आपने पैसा दिया और उससे जो आपको बेचने वाला है उनको रिफंड मिला, लेकिन आप तक नहीं पहुंचा. It didn't reach you, whereas it should have. But the point is, how will you find out who was the consumer? We didn't have any database. We didn't have any mechanism to recognize how to pay that money back. So we went up to the Supreme Court because the government was unable to bring that money from the people who were getting this money. So we went up to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court gave a verdict that create a consumer welfare fund, and instead of the companies taking that money back, let it be deposited in that fund, which can be used for building awareness and in the interest of the consumers. So the Department of Consumer Affairs in the Government of India was made the nodal ministry to manage that fund. But it is being under an act of the Finance Ministry. The money is like, for example, even when the GST has come into action, all refunds of GST, undue enrichment, you have claimed wrongly and the government has recovered from you the GST, all that money is coming to consumer welfare. And what I want to tell you, ma'am, is I find that the states are not using that money. They are not asking for that money. All states are entitled to ask a part of that money to be used in every state for the welfare of the consumer. And when I asked the states, and please pardon me because I like to be free and frank, because if I'm your best friend, I'll tell you on your face what needs to be done. If I am your enemy, then I'll talk behind your back about it. So I like to speak in the front so that you know exactly where we are all wrong and we all need to improve. It is not only the government. Government is what? Government is we. And if I don't facilitate the government, how will government work? We have to facilitate the government. So the point which I am making is the first point is in this 3 years plan, the first plan should be to understand how the Northeast region is getting funding out of the Consumer Welfare Fund on consumer awareness. And if they are getting, how it is being utilized in the interest of the consumers. I would request Indian Chamber of Commerce to look at this issue and do a study if necessary. And as Tarni knows, Tarni, if I'm wrong, you have to correct me, that if you have asked for something, you've always got it. Especially to me, as the chair of this committee, if you have asked for something, I have not slept till I have not completed that. And Bijon Mishra doesn't sleep. Very unfortunate. So when I don't sleep, I don't make others also sleep. हम यदि जगते हैं, आप लोग तो रात जागरण करते होंगे कभी ना कभी, शिव जी के नाम से या किसी भगवान के नाम से रात जागरण होता है। तो रात जागरण जब होता है तो आप यदि नहीं सोते हो तो बहुत लोगों को भी नहीं सुलाते, सोने नहीं देते, इतना जोर से भजन गाते हो कि सब जगह रहे। Am I right or wrong? Right, very good. So we have to all stay awake. So the first thing is you might have the best of Mercedes with you, but if you don't have the petrol, that Mercedes is Pura. It's junk. So you need fuel to move. So I've given you the first point that fuel is there. You have to find out how to get that fuel to run the vehicle. That's the first step. Okay. The second step is, in order to build awareness, you have to create a demand. लोगों से you have to create a demand. Like doctor, I told you, if you want to have payment on time, you have to create that demand. That if I don't get paid within 24 hours, then I would not like to perform my surgery the next day. But we have to find a mechanism how to do that. So demand has to be very realistic, has to be made viable, but at the same time, we can't be doing in an ad hoc manner. So we have to build a lot of awareness. That whole Jago Graham Jago campaign, so which you mentioned, I was party to that in 2005. I was party to that with the government of India to bring this tagline. And when we build this tagline, Jago Graham Jago campaign is one of the most successful government-sponsored public campaign in the country, not only country, in the world. Why it happened? Because I was able to convince, that time the planning commission, now it is known as Niti Aayog, we were able to convince them that यदि कोई brand बनाना है, तो आपको brand बनाने के लिए पहले लोगों तक उस brand को ले जाना है in a regular manner. मैगी नूडल रातों रात नहीं बन गया मैगी नूडल, करोड़ों रुपया खर्चा किया और मैगी नूडल को प्रमोट करने के लिए, तब सब लोग बोलते हैं 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So we have to give a message. So the Jago Graham Jago campaign came out of 100 crores being spent every year on a multimedia campaign, where the department was getting only 3 crores in a year and they were not able to spend even 3 crores. They were not able to spend. 1-2 crore वापस चले जाते. So planning commission के वाइस चेयरपर्सन हम लोगों को बोले जब वो 3 crore नहीं खर्चा कर पा रहे, 100 crore कहाँ से खर्चा करेगा? So we have to build a mechanism. We have to get DAVP involved, we have to get many people involved, and now it has become institutionalized that इतना पैसा खर्चा करना ही होगा. Like the consumer helpline चल रहा है, national consumer helpline. Every state is supposed to have a helpline for the consumers. असम में है कि नहीं, दूसरे स्टेट्स में है कि नहीं, यदि है तो उसको कैसे हम और पॉपुलर करें? It might be there, many things are there, but it is in one small corner. We are not able to take it out and show it to the people that we are doing for you, but you don't know that we are doing for you. How do we do that? So huge publicity campaign. So Indian Chamber of Commerce again can play a very critical role by bringing in messaging in all your events, your mailers, your letterheads, your visiting cards. You start putting the helpline of the state government, which the state government is not able to do. Yes. Help the state government to make it popular. You see, my most important issue is that when people do not know, how do you make them know? Why are we least penetrated in insurance? Because people don't have the trust. हम फोन करते हैं कोई उठाता ही नहीं. People say, अरे कब उठाएगा जब तुम करते रहोगे, कब उठाएगा जब आप बोलते रहोगे. You have to ask for yourself. You have to assert your rights. If you don't assert your rights, but not in a critical manner, आपको मतलब किसी को नीचा दिखाने के लिए नहीं करना है. You don't have to do certain things to show somebody downgraded. No, please. Never do that. You have to tell somebody that, look, I am also part of you. I want to help you. You are not able to do it. Please tell me how we can help you in a very positive manner. हमको कई बार लोग बोलते हैं, सर बिजी है मीटिंग में. हम लोग मीटिंग किसके लिए कर रहा है? Please tell your sir to call me back when he is free. Everybody is busy today with something very critical, and they are all working for the citizens' welfare. But if the citizen is not able to talk to you, what is his welfare? Then it is zero. Citizens must be able to talk to you, reach you, tell you, and never take feedback as a negative. Never think that any citizen आपको नीचा दिखाने के लिए कुछ बोल रहा है. Always think citizen is telling you how to improve the process, how to make the process more friendly, how to make processes more citizen-centric. So friends, today, if we have to plan for the 3 years, then I'm sure, we all will today deliberate on that. Because our focus should be, and I would recommend everybody to please understand this, because we have many people around the table, and I would like to give opportunity to everybody who has taken time to come here to be able to speak at least one sentence before you go. But we all have to make short interventions, and your intervention should be very focused in terms of what can be done in the next 3 years for Northeast, where we can strengthen the government, we can strengthen the industry, so that the consumer can get the best value for money, best quality product, and if they have any problem, there is somebody to listen to that person. And that should be the plan. How do we make people be heard? I'm not saying that everybody should rush to the consumer district commission or the state commission to claim compensation. No, that should be the last. The first point of contact is from where you have bought, your retailer. The company who sold that product to you. You should exhaust that process first, completely. And then give opportunity to a mediation process. And that is where again Indian Chamber of Commerce can play a very important role. To start a good, robust mediation center in the state of Assam as a model for the other states of the country. Mediation center is nothing but जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं मध्यस्थता. Bring two disputed people together, talk to them, find out, and bring them together to agree to some proposal which the mediator allows them to go ahead with. Because घर में मध्यस्थता कब होता था? जब कोई भी बुजुर्ग परिवार में होता है, anybody who is an elder in the family, you would always go before them. And we will tell, whatever you will say, it's final for me. So both the parties have to agree to this. So my closing remark is, friends, काम बहुत है, and समय बहुत कम है. हम तो हो गया 71, 40 साल, 30 साल से शुरू किया, जब हम 30 साल की उम्र रहे. अभी भी हम सोचते हैं, माय गॉड, इतना काम बाकी है, लेकिन समय कितना है नहीं मालूम. So my only request to you is, speed is ultimate. And I always say, when I'm in the classroom, that speed is profit. If you don't catch the bus on time, and that's why I told you all that तालवी को भी बोले कि 10-10:30 बजे हम लोग टाइमिंग दिए हैं, तो 10:30 बजे तो चलना है, फिर जो भी बस में आते रहेगा चढ़ते रहेंगे, लेकिन हम लोग चालू तो कर देंगे. So we have all started. Thank you very much for coming, taking time, and I am here the whole day for you all. There is no issue, and then of course my phone number is available anywhere in public domain. Media हमको छोड़ता नहीं है, हमारे सब दोस्त हैं जो आज भी आए हैं, and you just have to Google search and you will get my horoscope in the Google. You know, of course, not for having another marriage. I'm very happy with my family and my wife, but that horoscope should be used by each one of you to do certain prediction. Use it for the purpose of the country. Use it for the purpose of the consumer. So thank you once again, Indian Chamber of Commerce, for inviting me, for giving me this opportunity, and I will be impatiently anxious to learn from you all today in this roundtable. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. We would like to thank Professor Vijay Kumar Mishra sir for enlightening us with your valuable thoughts, and we must agree and acknowledge that Vijay Kumar Mishra sir has been supporting us continuously with his suggestions and guidance from the day he got associated with Indian Chamber of Commerce. And today he took the trouble to travel from Hyderabad. So we actually would like to thank you, sir, for all the pain that you have taken. So thank you once again, sir. Now I would like to request Mr. Rajat Banerjee, the chairman of Indian Direct Selling Association and the vice president of Corporate Affairs, MV India Enterprises Private Limited, to kindly share your address. Mr. Rajat Banerjee has joined us virtually. So can we take the support from the technical team to connect to Mr. Rajat Banerjee, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Tarali. It's always a difficult task to fill in after Bijon sir's presentations, but I'll make an effort to do so. I always struggle a bit with screen sharing, so again I'm struggling here. I'll request just a bit of patience from everybody that side. But from my end, a very warm good morning to everyone. 1 second, please. Very good morning to everybody from my side. And I will, yes, I think there is some screen sharing happening here. Can everyone see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. Once again, good morning, everybody. Very warm welcome to all dignitaries, especially Ms. Leena Das, ma'am, SK Jain sir, Bijon sir, and everyone across the dais, and everyone on this presentation. I've been given 15 minutes, and I shall endeavor to stay within my time limit. My presentation, as has been captured, will be more on from the direct selling perspective, and to some extent I will share from Ambient. Next slide, please. Well, very briefly about Indian Direct Selling Association. You can press the slide once again. Yes, thank you. This was formed in 1996 in Delhi. Am I clear, sir?
Yeah, clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we are part of the World Federation, the WFDSA, which is based out of Washington, DC. The World Federation is present in 62 countries across the world. Of course, this industry itself is doing business in about 170 countries across the world. In India, the 18 member companies are part of IDSA. Next slide, please. Okay, if we just to give us a little bit of a context, this is something that we are all well aware of. But I thought, since we are talking about not just the consumer perspective, but I thought I'll just broaden it a bit and give us a sense of where we stand in terms of the economy. The graph has been very healthy, except for the COVID year. Next slide, please. And if we look at India's contribution to the global economy in 2012, when the global economy was $75.5 trillion, we were 2.42% of the share. In 2021, we have risen to 3.3% of the share. Our CAGR is strong, is almost 6.3% compared to the global of 2.7. Next slide, please. And if you look at the GDP country by country, India, India, as we all know, has recently moved to the 5th position, displacing UK, which is now at number 6. Of course, I had put in another slide, but in my presentation that's on my desktop, but I couldn't share it here. But I'll verbally just share with you that in a report called the Millennium Perspective by Professor Angus Maddison, from the Development Center Studies for the OECD sometime in 2005 or 2006, he had a graph which showed that at one time, India was the leading economy of the world with about 30% plus. So, of course, there's no point in referring to ancient history, but in terms of perspective, we were once really very big, probably what USA is today. Next slide, please. All right, if you look at the retail sector in India, next slide, please. There are 3 broad classifications, which is standard retail, which is mom and pop stores, kirana stores, dukaan jise hum kehte hain. I think you'll have to press the click once more, please. E-commerce and direct selling. Next slide, please. And if you look at the share of each, this is very, very revealing. The retail industry, that is the store format, has 92%. Next, tap it once again. E-commerce accounting for 7.3%, and direct selling very, very minuscule, not even 1%, 0.45%. But the relevance will come to us all in a future slide. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the growth projection for each of these verticals. Retail sector is going to go up to about almost 3 times by 2030, to about 350 billion, close to 6 times for e-commerce. You'll have to tap the presentation once more, please, for the percentage to come up. And $12 billion for direct selling. You tap once more, please, for the percentage to come up. Next slide, please. Yeah, here's the percentage figures: 11.24 for retail, 22.83 for e-commerce, and 15.7, almost 16% for direct selling. So what I'm trying to communicate to everyone in this in today's conference is that while we are a minuscule part of the overall retail scenario, we certainly, we cannot be discounted for various reasons. Next slide, please. Now, just a couple of points on what exactly direct selling is. Yes, next slide, please. So this is what the standard retail segment looks like, where the manufacturer makes products and then distributor to a wholesaler, retailer, finally reaches the consumer. You'll have to tap once more, please. Who is operating? Yes, thank you. So this is what happened in direct selling. The number of levels between the manufacturer and the consumer reduces. The commissions that normally goes into the large distribution channel, which could account between 20 to 35%, goes to individuals who are called direct sellers. Thank you. Next slide, please. If you look at the evolution of the direct selling industry, if you keep tapping, yes, it started over a century ago with Avon. Though the reality is, in the Indian context, I think direct selling has existed forever, because we all would recall in our small towns that we grew up, or maybe a village that we grew up in, some would come to sell products directly to your house. That's also direct selling. But today, the direct selling that we're talking about is a corporatized manner. It's formal, and very, very much like any FMCG company. Next slide, please. If you look at the global industry, it's a fairly large industry. If you look at the last 4 years of growth, today it's close to $186 billion. So kindly note that it is a fairly strong a number. These figures exclude China because the China figures have never very clear from many perspectives. Next slide, please. And if you look at the global spread of this industry, Asia is at number 1. US is, sorry, the Americas, North and South is number 2, 36%, Asia is 42%, Europe 21%, and Africa and Middle East 1%. Next slide, please. If you look at the product categories, you'll have to tap the slide once again. Wellness is leads by 35%, cosmetics 25%, household goods 16%, clothing, financial, and others are smaller numbers. Next slide, please. And if you look at the total number of people involved in this industry, this is where I refer to my earlier comment that while in terms of size, we may not be very big, but in terms of number of people involved, we are very, very big. So the global scale, it is about 128 million people. 74% are women, 26% men. This is the global context. I'll come to the Indian one in the next subsequent slides. Next slide, please. Okay, if you look at 2019, India was sitting at number 15 with $2.48 billion business. We'll all agree that it's a huge potential, and Bijon sir, who have been working closely for the last 7-8 years, has been really egging us on. He did speak towards the end, talk about the need for speed, and he's been really galvanizing us to say that why is India not among the top 5? And that's a good point, and we are doing all we can from the industry perspective. Next slide, please. If you look at the following year, 2020, India's at the 12th position. So we are certainly inching our way up, but certainly not as fast as we should, or to the potential that we can. Next slide, please. And in 2021 as well, there have been some changes. We're still probably in the 12th position. You'll have to tap it once again, please. Where we are today at about $3.25 billion. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. If you look at the Indian context, between 2016-17 rather, and now we've seen a very strong growth from around 11,600 crores. Earlier, I was giving you the figure in $1 billion. Now, for the Indian context, I will come to crores. And today we are close to 18,000 crores in 2021. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
All right. So as I was saying, probably 21-22 we would be very close to 20,000 crores in India. Next slide, please. And the CAGR has been very strong, close to 16% CAGR. Next slide, please. If you look at the product categories in India, as globally, the wellness is leading, but of course, here we are at 58%, cosmetics at 22%, and the others are visible to you. During the COVID time, we have seen a surge in our wellness interest in our wellness products, and I can talk about that if we have time at the end of my presentation. Cosmetics has always been strong, and I do recall it was in Guwahati for one event, I remember 6-7 years back, where even I was amazed that one lady from Avon stood up and said she had about 50,000 women in her sales force just in Northeast. So that's the numbers we're talking about. Next slide, please. If you look at the regional presentation, regional breakup, North India somehow is the number 1 region with 29%. Though, of course, if we include East and Northeast, we would be 34%. So East and Northeast would be 34%. West is 23%. South lags behind at a 14%. Next slide, please. Yeah. And if you look at the top 5 states from descending order, Maharashtra is the number 1 state. It's been there for a long time. Bengal, the second with 11%, UP 10%, Bihar 7%, Odisha 6%. I'll come to the Assam figures subsequently, but clearly this chart, this slide actually challenges everyone's belief systems, because most of us know states in East, and we are seeing 3 states in the top 5. Most of us know that in white collar goods and other products, East lags behind, but this is one industry which has surprised everybody, and we are delighted to share this particular slide with you all. Next slide, please. If you look at the gender spread in India, today, you would recall globally there's 74% women and 26 men. In the Indian context, while about 20 years ago it was a similar ratio, but in today's context we're seeing probably, not probably, definitely more men as compared to women. A probable reason is that while in many parts of the West, direct selling is seen as a value add, as a kind of a add-on business, I think in the Indian context, it's fair to say that it is seen as a means of livelihoods, of providing for households. Next slide, please. All right, you'll have to tap the thing once again. Yes. So if you look at Assam, I've shared this in the past. We've got about sales of about 818 crores, which is the 9th largest market in India, 4.53% of the national turnover. We contribute about 120 crores to the by way of taxes. We'll have tap it once again, please, for point number 4 to emerge. Please tap it once again. And of course, we've got 2.5 lakh active distributors, out of which 1.18 lakh are women. Next slide, please. And as some of us would know, in 2021 December, the central government has passed or notified the direct selling rules and has left the monitoring to the states. I think this slide refers to that. I will not elaborate much because today we're talking more on a different matter, but this is just for everyone's information that monitoring now will be part of the state. And we did connect with Mr. Biswal sir, I think a few weeks back on this. And of course, we will come back on that issue separately. Next slide, please. All right, finally, Amway, because as you all know, besides being the chairman of IDSA, which is my honorary kind of position, I work with Amway. Here's some facts about Amway. Globally, we are the #1 direct selling firm in the world, of course, with close to $9 billion in sales. We've been in India since May 1998. 95 products of our products that we sell in India are made in Amway has invested over 1,000 crores in India. We have our own manufacturing plant in Dindigul district in Tamil Nadu. We've started exports from there as well. And this is something I like to share with all decision makers in the government, that we are a product-based business, which is exactly the same as an FMCG like Unilever or Colgate Palmolive. The only difference is that while in the other business models, the product goes to the shelf directly, here the product comes to the home through direct sellers. And as I said earlier, the commissions of, let's say, 20 to 35%, which is paid to the big wholesalers, etc., paid to individuals. So it is money going into the pockets of private citizens. Next slide, please. I believe we might have missed one slide. Can we go back one slide, please? All right. Fine. Please go ahead. Go ahead. I think I made changes subsequently and that hasn't been captured here. So there was one slide that which hasn't been captured here, I'm afraid, where I highlighted some elements that especially Amway has, and I can just on the top of mind read it out for you. We have a 100% money back guarantee for all Amway products, which means if a consumer does not like an Amway product, even uses it. So if you buy a product, or could be a detergent, open the seal, use it up to a certain amount, obviously, and within a reasonable period of 30 days, a consumer can return the product, get his or her money 100% back. That is number one. Number two, we have a very robust consumer redressal, consumer complaint redressal format, which is available on our website, etc. We have consumer redressal mechanism which is very strong, and I'm happy to share that none other than Mr. Bijon Mishra is our ombudsman, and many of our complaints, at least 12 to 14 in a year, he helps us resolve. It's a completely third-party resolution mechanism, and I'm very proud to share with this group that Amway has taken a certain lead in this particular aspect. I've taken about 16 minutes. I've crossed my time, so I'll ask my presentation to be stopped so that I can come back to the larger group and answer if there are any questions, if at all. Otherwise, I'll be happy to hear the next speaker. Thank you so much.
We would like to thank Professor Rajat Banerjee for sharing this comprehensive presentation, the perspective of Indian Direct Selling Association as well as and the Indian Enterprises Private Limited. Thank you once again to Mr. Rajat Banerjee. Now we are delighted with the presence of two more dignitaries over here, and we would like to welcome them with a felicitation. So we would like to welcome Mr. Samir Borua, Chairman of ICC Northeast Banking and MSME Committee, and to felicitate him, I would like to request our Regional Director of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ishanta Sabapati, to kindly felicitate Mr. Samir Borua. Thank you so much. We are delighted with the presence of Mr. Shomnath Ghosh, Insurance Ombudsman Guwahati. So we'd like to welcome you to this roundtable and we'd like to felicitate you. I'd like to request Mr. Ishanta Sabapati. Thank you so much. Now we are proceeding ahead for the next address, and for that I'd like to request Professor Subhash Khanna, Chairman of ICC Northeast Health Committee and the CEO of Swagat Hospital Guwahati, to kindly share your address, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karali Harma, for inviting me. Dear Mr. Chairman, ICC, Mr. Satyan, Mrs. Leela Das, Professor Rajan Mishra, and all the dignitaries present here. It's slightly unusual for a surgeon to be attending the Chamber of Commerce meetings, but it is partly by choice and partly by request from Tarali and from Mr. Ishanta Sabapati. I am Professor Subhash Khanna. I have pioneered, I will say why I pioneered many services in the Northeast, starting from laparoscopic surgery, when my wife associated would kill people by operating to the hole in 1992 to endoscopy. And today, I'm one of the few people. I'm the only one who can do endoscopy of your liver also. I can go into your liver.
We'll request the speaker to kindly speak up, sir. I'm sorry, we cannot hear.
Okay, I'm Dr. Subhash Khanna, professor, a surgeon, entrepreneur. Okay, sorry, I was not audible. Okay, so we also have introduced robotic surgery in the Northeast India for the first time, and we are the only center. So I bring technology, and main purpose of bringing technology is what I was telling Professor Mishra this morning, so that our people do not have to travel outside the state. And we all know a huge number of people have to travel to many places. Almost all the flights to Hyderabad, to Chennai, to Delhi are full of patients going from here. And not only patient attendants. So this was my aim when I left medical college as professor of surgery. Being academics, I had to explore and see how safe is our patient in our hospital. For that, I practically visited all the big hospitals in the country, starting from the Restaurants of Koti to the Bangalore MS Ramaya Operation Theatre, which was under construction, to the European hospital where I have operated 2 years. And thereafter, I found hospital is a very, very complex building. Unlike in this room where only safety needed is firefighting, fire and the lights. In hospital, you have to have, and this is very, very important for the patient to know. You have to have CSSD, a centralized sterile department, otherwise the whole hospital gets infected. You have to have central oxygen or some oxygen backup. If something goes wrong, if the oxygen system is full, the 10 patients on the ventilator may die. You have to have 24 hours elevators to have. So apart from patient being a consumer, we also are consumer. We also buy many equipment, and we also need round the clock services from the people. There are instances during the COVID times, then in the night, whole night I was sitting and my ambulances are getting these cylinders, 130, 40, 50 big cylinders are getting exhausted. This aspect is probably not known to the patient and the society. This is not only to us. We are having sleepless nights because suddenly if the oxygen goes off, these patients are going to die. And they are going to die silently without anyone knowing what happens inside. So we have always worked for the safety of the patients, and which a patient should also be aware my hospital is safe or not. So to have a consumer awareness, the first thing which I would recommend is, why not we have a talk only on consumer, only on hospital safety. What are the hospital safety standards? Is there a wrong being operated? Is there a gauze piece left inside the abdomen? Did your patient have a fall in the hospital? It's a complex building. Are the corridors big enough for the beds to be taken? Is your patient, once he reaches, is there any way that he can be directly taken from the emergency to the operation theater through the wider corridors, big patient leads? So all this becomes a part of consumer awareness regarding the health safety. So while we are talking about consumer awareness, I will also recommending things. First, we would like to have an awareness program on hospital safety for the patients. Second, when people have a lot of expectations from the hospitals, from the doctors, all of us, we have shortcomings. It's not only medical. People have more expectations for the medical. If there is a small error, it becomes a big news. Whereas if we look inside, whether it is an administrator, whether it is a civil servant, whether it is a politician, whether it is a lawyer, we all have our shortcomings. Even if a lawyer gives a wrong judgment, a person may be penalized, or he might have to, which we don't look at. We only look at a small news. A baby died because of the negligence of the doctor, because even before proving the negligence, the doctor is penalized. So this is such a sensitive subject because each one of us are concerned about our health, and we should be. So this is one sensitive subject which we must know. Technology comes at a price. I was talking about technology. It comes at a price. When we sign a contract with any company, I sign a contract suppose with GE or Siemens, we do not know. Today, if my officer writes to a company that please attend this machine, simply the answer will be, you are not under AMC. Per visit for inspection, standard fees is 50,000 rupees. Before it is diagnosed, before the disease is diagnosed, we need to do something for that. We need to include these things as a consumer. I'm not telling right now as a consumer doctor. In the clause, when we purchase the equipment, is 100 pages. 90 of these pages are of no use. There should be a summary of what MOU I am signing and what agreement a patient is signing when he's taking an insurance. Summary on the first page. Can the ICC take the initiative and do it? 100 pages. I have also not signed my insurance. I've just signed it. So summary, what I need to get, and is my cardiac stenting going to be included? Is my transplant going to be included or not? So a summary in every MOU which you are signing should be there. Almost all the MOUs at the end, place of arbitration is the head office of the TPA company or the insurance company. I'm lucky that in the recent Consumer Act of 2020, it's mentioned now that it's information to all of us that the place of arbitration can be the place where the product is used by a consumer. But till 2020, every time we used to fight, no sir, this is demo product, the place of arbitration has to be in Mumbai. How will you put a lawyer against that company in Mumbai? You are from Guwahati or you are from Nalbari, a small place. So the only way by which ICC can help is to increase safety of the hospitals by asking the hospitals, please be prepared with automation, computerization, having standards operating procedures, SOPs, checklist and double checklist. WHO has given a checklist. The way when you sit in the cockpit of an aircraft, you have to do every time you have to do the same process. We always do. Sister ready, light on, camera working, diathermy working, current working. We check everything. Okay, we start. Every time we do a checklist, then sign it, and then only we start a procedure. Does every hospital follow the checklist and the double checklist? If not, you are liable to commit a mistake. Human errors are always there. Then the policies of the hospital. So when we are going for any inspection, NABH or NABH, these things also need to be checked. Finally, as Professor Mishra said, vigility, be vigilant if you really want to be safe as a hospital owner, if you want to be safe in your hospital. The moment you enter, you must know which is the fire escape. Coming back to consumer protection and consumer interests, we have about 20 years back, in 2000 when I started the first hospital, 15 years, there was no insurance, neither public nor private. ESI, they go to ESI hospitals, CGS, they go to hospitals. So very few private hospitals are taking the ESI patients, which is a procedure of 1 lakh, you may get 10,000 only, and you will be sold like 3-4 hospitals which are sold in Guwahati. Hospitals are good, but they're getting sold. And I don't want to name, we all know these hospitals, how bad they have done. Okay. Luckily, in 2015, there was no insurance for my patients. 90% of the patients were on insured cash payment. We made the hospital a new one, super special. The first one, we survived. But the good thing is, as Professor Mishra said, in the last 3 years, we have seen a total change. Public awareness has come. 70% of my patients today, I have to operate 3 patients, all of 3 are covered under insurance. So awareness has come, but we need to have more awareness. Second thing which I would recommend is bringing awareness either through newspaper writings. I promise to write one proper article in the next 2 weeks' time. TV appearances, radio appearances, how this insurance will help you, insurance coverage will help you in getting good and bad, both the pros and cons. The bad thing, my officer is sitting on the back side. Even today, I have an outstanding from insurance company of 1.94 crore. It may be too big an amount for a small hospital, a 100-bedded hospital. At any particular moment of time, around 2 crores is outstanding, you don't get. Can we include a person who can give 80,000 for a 10 lakhs insurance in a year? He can give 20% of this as an advance money for the at least minimum cost. What will happen? These people, no one will complain against TPA because they're scared. The hospital was scared, or they might be dissociate from you. They might threaten you. If you take advance, we will remove you from our canal. Again, yeah. They will not. Okay. No, they will not know. They know that I am the owner. But for other hospital, they might do their basis. So no one will allow you to take. Why can't we do that? Why can't we take 10% from the patient so that the patient runs after them? Sir, my money is stuck there. Please get it approved. Rather than my putting a team, adding a cost to the patient. If I put 4 officers on the job, the cost will increase. I will charge more from the patient for just getting the money. Okay. There are surprising denials and approvals. Approvals seem to be one patient gets approval for robotic surgery, 3 lakhs, and another patient gets a denial. We can't explain because we are not expert in that. So if it is in the paper itself, if the paper, then the summary of his insurance, he also knows now. There was a patient who was admitted, I hope I have time, another 5 minutes maybe, admitted, he was initially approved and later on denied. Now he will not pay. He don't have any answer. Called up the OC. So what to do? Patient doesn't want to pay, he just wants to go. And what we did, I don't want to disclose, and finally we could recover the money. But such situations come. All these TPA companies must be regulated. they must have, as per the guidelines, they must have at least one doctor in the panel. Otherwise, they should not be given a permission. At present, officially, as per the website, there are 30 TPS country companies which are approved by IRDA. They must have one doctor director, as this is a clause. If it is not, tomorrow only IRDA should ask them who is the doctor, because he will understand the intricacy of the patient. Otherwise, get an absurd letter. Why this is needed in this case? This is a standard thing. Why a standard is that in standing case? If you ask, it will look very funny, isn't it? So that's it. Packages are very erratic. When we are working for a TPA insurance, are we looking only at the urban, or we are also looking at the rural area? If you are working at the rural area also, one company, Bajaj, has a very small package of the same operation, where a Star gives more, HDFC gives the best, like that. So it's very difficult for us to judge which patient, every time, under which TPA this patient is. We are concerned whether I should be operating or my junior should operate. Because we have to look at the package. So now I think it's high time we should write to the insurance companies, Professor Mishra is here, to have category of the hospitals. Grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3, accordingly fix the packages. Grade 3 or level 2 or level 3 for rural areas, at least let them also have a benefit of this thing. If he's insured, he will not get operated there, he will again try to come to the town. For a smaller procedure, you can always get it done there, provided we have some of the hospitals in the rural area also covered under the insurance. I know that there are many on the website. It is written. You can have, you can call up the IRDA, or you can write a complaint. I think ICICI can help in this regard, and and we can also take an initiative to have a complaint cell for this. We were talking about rural population. I see there are new additions to the new Consumer Act. We can have a e-complaint, which people do not know. They need to be aware. At the same time, if there if a complaint on the by name, there will be thousands of complaints. We will not be able to, the government and the agency will not be able to look after into this. So why not put a penalty for a very false and trivial complaint? Why can't we do that? If your complaint is useless, false, trivial, you may be penalized. You will be penalized with 1/4 of your hospital bill if you make any false complaint. Okay, so I think that's all. I was just looking at Professor Mishra, what he had said. So in short, I say we need to make consumer safe, consumer protected, and we are always, hospitals and doctors are always charged that they overcharge, they charge unnecessarily, they do investigation unnecessarily. So if there are standard protocols, if I have a standard protocol, investigation for gallstone surgery, standard printed, this is for all, not only for you. Patient is clear. So standard protocols which are followed, it will be nice. So the recommendation is, let's bring awareness through TV, electronic media. Let's bring ICC, make ICC presence by making a completed cell for patient. Let's write to the insurance companies to introduce their doctors, directors who are there, so that any case of medical problem, we can answer to them. Let's also have insurance coverage for our rural people. Let's also have category standard charges for all the insurance companies. Why the charges are different from one company to the other? And let's have more vigilant. They also have a problem. If there's an open billing only for a small procedure, the patient may be kept for 5 days in ICU and may charge unnecessarily. I think that's what I want to say. I will conclude with this small remark. small statements by Edward. The only thing necessary for triumph of evil is the good man to do nothing. If we do nothing, the evil will win. So we have to do something. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank Professor Srinivas Khanna for sharing the perspective from one of the critical sector, that is health. And thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable inputs and recommendations. We'll take it forward. Now, we would like to request Dr. Darindo Khatting, Vice Chancellor of Northeast Christian University, Dimapur, to kindly share your address, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, Madam Professor Mishra, I take this opportunity on behalf of the Northeast Christian University to greet you all and to thank the ICC for inviting us to participate in this Roundtable conference. The Northeast Christian University is a young university. We started our academic sessions only hardly 4 years ago, 2018. But we have stress on things as a completion, things that lead to quality, better quality of life. For us, we don't have too many departments or too many subjects. Our trust area is now in the subjects of UG, PG, PhD is on international relations. Because the Northeast is very strategically based, is located, is a gateway for into Southeast Asia, the Far East, and to South Asia itself. We also stress on the teaching of English. So we have master's degree in teaching of English, not literature nor linguistics. But in our pursuit for quality, we are the only university, in fact, the only organization in the country that is accredited by the NABCB, National Accreditation Board for Certifying Bodies, to evaluate and certify traditional healers, which means so-called COVID out here. We can evaluate the Islamic Council of India. This is a scheme that we have initiated, and we will recognize them, and later on we were accredited by the NABCB. We are also the only organization in the country so far to be recognized by CBSA, that's which is under the Ministry of Biotechnology, to evaluate and certify critical practitioners, which is perhaps the only one in the world. So these are things that we are doing. We're a small university, but for us, the pursuit of excellence, the pursuit of quality, to improve the quality of life, that is our fundamental thing that we pursue. That's why here also we are invited to participate in this consumer protection awareness. If the consumer is aware that they have rights to good quality of products, of services, and we participate together, not necessarily as just to point fingers at products and services, but also together with the providers, then we can ensure that there will be both products and services, and the quality of life will itself be much better. That's what will happen. Now, yes, there's a huge need for awareness in this area, especially in the Northeast. Because in the Northeast, we are quite laid back, and we're quite satisfied with what we get. And we don't too much about fighting for rights and fighting for services for our own selves. That's perhaps the problem we have. We accept things as they are, and we don't like to make a noise about it. But we need to be aware, as we repeated, our chairman and professor, all of us are competing. All of us are consumers. All of us are consumers because we buy things every day. We pay for services every day. In fact, we are increasingly a consumer society, perhaps not as much as the West, but still we are. And if we realize in Northeast where we hardly have any industries, and we're importing practically everything from outside, then we need to ensure that all the products are good. So this is where the awareness aspect comes in. And we as a university will be most happy to participate in the awareness programs. We can not only ourselves but encourage other educational institutions can play a major role, a massive role in the awareness programs because they have a captive of people around them. They have the students, they have the parents, they have the, in our case, we have the Christian University, we have churches, we have NGOs, all these are practically captive audience that are there who we can address. So other universities have different types of groups that they can address. So working together, not just to our students in colleges, but to the NGOs, to the traders themselves, to the manufacturers themselves, because it is we work together. It's okay to complain about some products, but sometimes we can go overboard. And especially when we go, I've seen some places where people use social media. It's like, yes, social media reaches across the world in a second. But sometimes social media can be very brutal. Because you just post anything just because you are unhappy with somebody's attitude or even his looks, and that you can spoil, that destroy somebody. And that should be, as Professor Khanna said, yes, we should also have a penalty for such things. It's not just one way that we point fingers at somebody else. So all these needs, the awareness is not just from one side to say, okay, you have the right to do this, you can protest, you can complain, you can get back, redress yourself, but also to help the manufacturers and to build together a better society by having good products on the streets, delivering services and products. This is what I look at from that point of view. Because even if we can go further, we're talking of services, but the ethics and services also, that can also be included in the services, because not just measurable things that we talk about, but the ethics that are followed. So for me, it's just to be here to learn from you how you can use us. I'm offering our university to facilitate what you will advise us and how we can go forward in making people aware of their not just their rights, but also their responsibilities as consumers. So I invite all of you to help us and guide us and help our university. We volunteer ourselves to be part of this exercise that the ICC is doing. Thank you once again for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
We would like to thank Dr. Roundtable Kafi for sharing his valuable inputs. Now we would like to have the virtual address from the state Mizoram. The Joint Secretary of Food Safety, Consumer Affairs and Food Safety and Consumer Affairs Department Mizoram has joined us virtually. So can I get the technical support from the IT team to connect to the Joint Secretary of Mizoram who has joined us virtually?
Sorry, madam. We could not hear properly what's going on, sir.
Yeah, like your voice is not very clear.
Due to poor connection, we could not hear.
Can you hear us? Can you hear your voice?
Pardon, madam.
Okay, we'll connect you later. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to request Ms. Srimati Leena Das, who is the Additional Secretary, Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Department of Government of Assam, to kindly address, please. Thank you. Good morning, all are respected. Good morning, all the respected dignitaries.
And in the state of Assam, for consumer redressal mechanisms, we have the State Commission and 23 district commissions. Previously, there were some vacancies in these commissions, but now we have filled up all the vacancies and these commissions are functioning smoothly. From March 22nd, we have launched the e-document system where consumers can also submit their complaints online, which is more speedier for them. And then we have the mediation cells. We have also established the mediation cells in all the state commission and in the state commission and all the district commissions. And these mediation cells, at the request of the president's state commission or district commissions, can resolve some of the disputes. Then we have in place the state consumer helpline, where, as Chairman has pointed out, it is not very much in awareness, and we would like to request Indian Chambers of Commerce to help us to create more awareness in this aspect. Then, as pointed out by my chairman, we have the Corpus Fund, but through the Corpus Fund in Assam is not yet established. We have undertaken the process because Government of India will sanction 20 crores of rupees, but before sanction they want the state share. Government of India's share will be 18 crores and state share will be 2 crores. So before sanction, they also want the state share to be there. In our part, last year we have sanctioned, we got the state share 1.44 lakhs. The balance amount is under process and within a short time, we will be able to put this state share in place, after which we can have the Corpus Fund. And the interest accrued from this Corpus Fund will be utilized for consumer welfare activities, where the NGOs and the VCOs can help us to make to undertake activities on consumer welfare and consumer awareness. Then we also have notified the State Consumer Protection Council and the District Consumer Protection Council, where meetings are held for resolving consumer complaints and also for undertaking consumer activities. So with this, I would like to end my speech. And I would like to thank Indian Chambers of Commerce for inviting me to this roundtable conference. I'm very grateful to you all. Thank you.
We would like to thank Srimati Veena Das, Additional Secretary, Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Department, Government of Assam, for sharing her valuable inputs, and we'll take your recommendation, ma'am. We will be delighted to do activities for consumer awareness across the state. Thank you so much, ma'am. So now I would like to have the virtual address. Mr. Opak Gao is Secretary, Legal Metrology and Consumer Affairs Department, Government of Arunachal Pradesh. He has joined us virtually. So I'd like to request Mr. Opak Gao to kindly share your valuable inputs, please. Thank you so much. May I request the technical team to connect Mr. Opak Gao, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Our secretary, sir, has been urgently called by Commissioner Home for some important discussion. So I'm Assistant Controller, Legal Metrology Consumer Affairs, and sir has asked me that if you all can wait for some time, so as soon as he comes up from the meeting with Commissioner Home, then he will join the meeting and submit his deliberation.
Yes, actually this was the last address of the opening session, so we are proceeding towards the end of the first session. I would like to request Mr. Opak Gao if he can join us in the second session according to his convenience. So with this, we are proceeding towards the end of the opening session. And for that, I'd like to request the Regional Director of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ishanta Sabapande, to kindly share the closing remarks as well as to extend the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Tarun. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I'd like to thank everyone who is present here today for making committed to come here to discuss and share the valuable inputs and also to learn from the experts who are here. We'll certainly take a cue and take it forward the suggestions that were given and the virtual or verbal responsibilities that were given to us. We as a chamber will be happy to take it forward. And from time to time, we will certainly maybe disturb or worry our esteemed guests regarding the inputs they have given so that we can broadly work on that. I don't know whether I should formally thank Mr. Professor Vijay Kumar Mishra because he is one of the persons who has really helped us from day one. And we are also fortunate and lucky enough to have an expert like him in our committee as a chairperson. Thank you so much, sir, for your. And also, I'd like to thank for the time and energy that they have given for coming down from all the way from Hyderabad to Guwahati to attend this session. Thank you very much. And I'm sure your experience will really help in building the consumer awareness in entire northeastern states because he is a gamut of a person who is full of experience and who is just inclined about this consumer awareness totally. I would also like to thank Mr. Rajat Banerjee, who has been instrumental in making this workshop a success. I would also like to thank Professor Subhash Khanna, who is also the chair of Northeast Health Committee. Thank you very much, sir, for coming here. I would also like to thank Dr. Rolando Khatik, who is the Vice Chancellor of Northeast Christian University, Dimapur. Thank you very much, sir, for making it here. I would also like to thank Srimati Leena Das, Additional Secretary of Food and Civil Supplies, Consumer Affairs Department, Government of Assam. I would like to also thank the members present here from Arunachal Pradesh on behalf of Opak Gao. I'm sure we'll be listening to him shortly. Also the representative of Mizoram State Government. And I'm sure we'll be having a very fruitful and interesting deliberations in the time to come, in the next 2 hours to come, because we have got very good experts like Dr. Samir Barua, who is also the chair of Banking and Investment Committee, Mr. Santikam Hazarika, who himself is an expert in various sectors. We are fortunate to have Mr. D.P. Acharya, who is a retired IRS, and he's also the chair of the committee of IRTA. We are also having Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, who is the Principal Secretary, Labour Welfare Department, Government of Assam. And along with it, we'll be having a couple of experts here
will be sharing a lot of inputs towards the consumer awareness in the northeastern region. I would also like to endorse and thank Mr. Sunil Saraf, who has joined virtually with us, and also the rest of the people who have joined us virtually here. I would also like to thank our media friends who are here, along with the delegates present here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to Tarani.
Thank you, Mr. Shakti Sabapandi. So with this, we come to the end of the first session. Here we would like to announce the arrival of the chairperson of the second session. So we'd like to formally welcome Mr. B.P. Acharya, I Chairman of Advisory Committee of IRDAI. He will be joining us in the second session as a chairperson of the second session. So with this, we would like to take a short break of 10 minutes. There is a tea break of 10 minutes. I would like to request all the dignitaries and delegates to join us on time exactly after 10 minutes. So thank you so much. We'll meet you again after 10 minutes. Thank you. The tea is served in the dining hall. Thank you so much.
এখন অফ করে দাও রেকর্ডিং লাগবে কিন্তু রে পরে যা আবার পৌঁছে না কিছু কপিগুলো দেখি না আগের প্রোগ্রাম ডিলিট আগের প্রোগ্রাম রাখুন না
আমি দিয়ে ফরম্যাট মারতেছিলাম বাবুদাকা ফরম্যাট মারি আপনি যাই 1 ঘন্টা প্রোগ্রাম লিখুন না আমাদের 3 ঘন্টা
যে মেমোরিটাতে রেকর্ডিং বন্ধ কর তো এটা যাই ভিতরে ইয়ে আছে হ্যাঁ এইখানে তো বাথরুম আছে
Don't judge people. When you judge people, you will never understand about them. But when you understand about people, you will never judge them. Namo Buddhaya. Listen, don't judge people. When you judge people, you will never understand about them. But when you understand about people, you will never judge them. Namo Buddhaya.
আমি জানি একটু খাবি না চল আমি নিয়ে আইতেছি
Please check video.
Because this is very important.
कैमरा की लॉक कर
ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ
स्क्रीन है नहीं स्क्रीन का
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಆಗೋದು ಬಾಬು
ऑन करो
ক্যামেরা বাবু বাকি ক্যামেরা ভিডিও আছে এমনি অন আছে
recording was हम नहीं चाह
Regulate also is develop. You want to first develop and regulate.
शिवम ने भी कुछ इधर से
Bring that name here. Physically this way. Come here, come closer. No insurance. Come please. Next to this. Very good. We want the energy to pour out. I think we can start. Mrs. Shaba Sheikh, is she there?
recording
Yes, I am.
start recording जो
Financial inclusion development. RBI. I'm not from RBI. RBI summit is there. Why is the right RBI after your name? Yeah.
Hazarika is from Hyderabad. He's trained in Hyderabad. To be aggressive. We have wonderful people. There is no development. People in Assam are tolerant.
Recording my
They level up. Can we start?
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, all the dignitaries and delegates present over here. So, welcome you to the second part of today's roundtable, that is the sector-wise initiatives and updates and the strategic way forward for consumer protection. So, we are graced with the presence of the guest of honor of today's roundtable, Mr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti, IS, Principal Secretary, Labour Welfare Department, Government of Assam. We would like to formally welcome the guest of honor of today's Mr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti, and I would like to request the Regional Director of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ishanta Sabapandi, to kindly felicitate the guest of honor of today's program, Mr. B. Kalyan Chakravarti. Thank you so much. We are placed with the presence of the chairperson of today's session, Mr. B.P. Acharya, IS retired. He is the chairman and advisory committee of IRDA. I would like to request the regional director of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ishanta Sabapandi, to kindly felicitate Mr. B.P. Acharya, IS retired. Thank you so much. Yes, so with this, we are proceeding ahead for the second session, which is very, very critical because we are going to have the updates on sector-wise updates. And yes, we have another dignitary present over here. He is Dr. Shukumal, and he is the chairperson of Banking and Investing. I'm really sorry. So yes, we would like to welcome you formally to the round table. He has joined us a little bit late, so yes, thank you so much. He is Dr. Shukumal Dev. Shukumal Dev, yes. So we would like to welcome you to the round table. So with this, we are going to. I'd like to request Mr. Ishanta Sabapandi to kindly felicitate Mr. Shukumal Dev. Thank you so much. So with this, we are proceeding ahead with the discussion, and for that, I'd like to request the chairperson of today's session, Mr. B.P. Acharya, IS retired, so to kindly proceed ahead with the session, and I'd like to hand over the session to you to kindly take it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tarvi, for the words of introduction. I must begin by thanking Professor Bijan Mishra for getting me here today. We are both colleagues in an advisory committee of IRDAI. We look after the agenda of IRDAI to revamp the system of ombudsman. Bima Lokpal, Mr. Somnath Ghosh, who is here, he is stationed in Guwahati, the ombudsman Lokpal in Guwahati, looking after all the 7 states of the area, of the region. So, having come here, so he said we are having a consumer awareness program of ICC. I also wear another hat of the Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce. I am the chief advisor of the FTCCI. Another very old body like ICC is a 105-year-old body of the traders and industry in Telangana, erstwhile Deccan, which started during the Nizam's time. So in that multiple role, I am indeed grateful that I had this opportunity of meeting you all. I'm particularly thankful to Kalyan, my colleague from Hyderabad again. Now he is the Principal Secretary, Labour and Skill Development, Government of Assam. Very important subjects in my view for a state like Assam, who has been wanting to, he joined at a very short notice. Yesterday only I requested him, please come and join. Because he has been, ever since I told that I am coming to Guwahati for the IRDA work, he said, you must do something about the tea workers. I said, why don't you come yourself and tell what is it that we can all do? So, in fact, it's a case where all of us, he says it is almost 50% of the workforce, agricultural workforce in Assam depend on tea gardens. 15 lakh families roughly, he says. So it's a very large number. Can we have custom-made packages, this of insurance, of healthcare, health insurance, I don't know whether they are aware at all. The penetration is so low. Whether they've been taken for a ride, A by the owners, B by the companies, if at all they have some policy, we need to look at that and see whether we can do a custom-made package for that. But we have a very eminent panel otherwise today, so we don't have much time, so we need to quickly start. So I would first request Kalyan to briefly tell us about the concerns about the tea garden, the labor department as such, on insurance, banking. We have experts, as you see, from different sectors represented in this panel, from the financial inclusion side, from the ABIC, I was told, and others who will be able to throw light on different subjects. So we'll begin with Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, Principal Secretary, Labour of Government of Assam.
Thank you very much, sir. I've come at very short notice, but as you very correctly said, sir, that Labour and Skill Department of the Government of Assam is a very key department in a sense. I was, of course, for the past 2.5 years, I was Principal Secretary in the field of education, which is some sort of a continuation to the Skill Department. How much time? Sir, so as long as we don't get sir, so sir, one of the things that I would like to say, sir, is that Assam is an extremely young population, whereas the average age of the country is about 26 years. The average age in the state of Assam is about 21 years. So we are about 5 years lesser in age. The average age of Assam is lesser than the rest of the country. If you look at also the employment potential, sir, and if we look at both the public sector and the private sector employment of the state, less than perhaps 10%, even in the most optimistic terms, will be covered by the employment. If you take the huge private sector employment, that's about 90%. So within this 10%, about 9% would be by the private sector, about 1% by the government. So 90% of the people are in the unorganized sector in the state of Assam. Both is unorganized labor, organized workers, unorganized sector. And there's a huge amount of unemployment in this sector. And so that is as far as the economic condition of the state is concerned, that is there. But at the same time, as I said, sir, that it provides us a great opportunity to provide employment skilling for these remaining 90% to be gainfully employed, both in the agriculture sector, which accounts for about 60% of the employment, the service sector, and the industry sector. The industry sector in the state of Assam has been lagging behind for various reasons of remoteness and insurgency, floods for a period of time. And though, of course, we have the Lukis policy, where we are hoping that in this corridor, in the next 10 years, Assam's industrialization, because of infrastructure and etc., will pick up. But we have a great potential in terms of manpower. There are about 333 government colleges. We have about now we have about 6,000 secondary schools. And the model that we are thinking is that in the secondary schools and the colleges, the youth will have to be skilled and be employed. So this is the employment potential and future that is there. Now, if you're looking at how we are dealing with the welfare of the labor, labor welfare or the employee welfare is a very complex and a very broad kind of a field. We have about 27 acts which are actually looking after the labor welfare. And labor, of course, is right from the domestic labor to transport labor to labor in the shops and establishments. In just about every field, you'll come across, our labor who are invisible. They are the invisible force of the state. Out of a total 3.5 crore population of the state of Assam, more than 1 crore will be the kind of people that basically the labor department has to look after, in terms of whether it is insurance, in terms of ensuring that they have health insurance, whether they have welfare in terms of protection of their work, in terms of post retirement or old age kind of benefits that we need to look after them, in terms of the education for the children of these rather left out kind of a people. Now, within this 1 crore, if I say 1 to 1.2 crores of the labor force, now when I say labor, the definitions of labor would be varying from books and from academic records, etc. I'm saying that the salary, if it is less than about 18,000 rupees per month, I would say is something we can consider as a labor. I'm saying it's very close to the minimum wages. It's very close to the various definitions that we talk about. So this is the kind of force which probably needs the greatest amount of maybe consumer awareness, which also needs the greatest amount of support in terms of certainty with regard to the vicissitudes of life that go from health to survival on a day-to-day basis, to accidents, to welfare during the time of sickness, and at the time when they retire. So the whole comprehensive package. So in that direction, of course, there are certain boards for construction workers. There is a board. Now, in various developed states, like say in Karnataka, there are boards for various people. Like transport board is there. There is a construction workers board. There is a maybe different kinds of boards. In the state of Assam, of course, we have one definite board. That is, we have a board for the building and construction workers, because this board is active in all the states only because 1% of the cess that is done on any construction is collected by that. So there is a substantial fund which can take care of the construction workers. But whereas for the other unorganized sector, other than the construction workers would be in the range of about, out of this 1.2 crores, we will be in the range of about 10 lakhs. About 10% to 10 to 15% of the total labor force will be in the field of construction. The remaining 90% do not have that financial mechanism of cess. We of course move, some state governments have moved for a transport cess for various kind of domestic workers. We don't have a cess. So this is the broad scenario as far as the labor is concerned. The most important, of course, as I said, construction, domestic labor, transport workers, shops and establishments. These are the various big sectors of the labor that one has to take care of. Now, sir was asking me this question: are they aware of their rights? Is there protection guaranteed? Now, under the law, as per now, the tea garden sector is a very important sector. I was saying, sir, that is one of the concerns, because 50% of tea of the country, 50-60% of the tea of the country is produced here, and perhaps Assam across the world is one of the major tea producers. Everybody across the world wakes up to a cup of tea from Assam. Most probably let's say 1 in 2 persons across the world wakes up to Assam tea. Assam is also the major most producer of them. Now for tea, especially, what kind of, how are we looking after the sector and how are we looking after the labor? Of course, tea gardens, the big tea gardens, we have about 850 to 1,000. The small tea gardens are more than about 1.5 lakhs. Small tea gardens, big tea gardens are defined in terms of the total land area that they have. There is a plantation act by which we define what is a big tea garden, what is a small tea garden. In the big tea gardens, we have an employment of approximately in the big tea gardens, we have a total permanent employee strength of about 6 lakhs and another temporary employee strength of about 6 lakhs. So about 12 lakhs, let's say, the big tea gardens we have. In the small tea gardens, I'm assuming that though they are much more in number and they are like, lakhs, etc., but they are very small. They are like, agricultural farms in the rest of the country. Small tea growers are like small agricultural farmers in the rest of the country. And there we have about 6 lakhs. So I said 15 lakhs is what I had told, sir. It's the total 18 lakhs population. Now, even if I take approximately 5 lakhs is the size of a family. So 15 into 5 is about 75 lakh population. That's about almost like 25% to 30% of the total population of the country, which will be affected by the tea garden labor. Now, as I said, the recent past has seen that there are accidents in tea gardens, etc. So we have laws like Compensation Act which has to be given to them. But there are a number of things we can further work on. One is the speed with which we do, how are the compensations being paid, where are the sectors. See, we have protection for the big tea gardens, but we don't have that kind of protection for the small tea gardens, both in terms of awareness, in terms of penetration of the insurance sector into the small tea gardens, which are like small farmers. So that is one thing. Similarly, I don't think we have this the penetration of insurance in the other worker sectors like in transportation or in the shops and establishment. You see so many employees in the shops and establishment. This is a very sensible majority. I will leave my listing there. These are areas which need to be explored in terms of what welfare measures we can do, what insurance policies, and how do we secure their life? How do we secure their points of distress in life in terms of health or education, accident or change, and what can be done in this sector, both in terms of awareness and both in terms of insurance. So, sir, I thought that let me just give a brief as to what I represent in the state of Assam. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyan, for the very comprehensive overview of the problem of tea gardens. As you said, nearly 15 lakh workers are directly involved. Let me assure you on behalf of the IIDM, our ombudsman also will work with you to see a custom-made insurance package is worked on with the help of yes. So, and maybe you can also look at a state-specific. There are a number of generic insurance policies, prime ministers, accidental, given with the newly introduced policies are there. But they are generic ones. You can have something custom-made for Assam, for the tea gardens, where some of the insurance companies with his contacts will be able to, he's a regulator, also a developer. He cannot regulate unless the market develops. So that's why it's called IRDA, Regulator and Development Authority. Insurance penetration is very low in India. But as per the latest estimates, India is going to be the 6th largest insurance market in the world in the next 8-9 years. By 2030, India will be the 6th largest insurance hub of the world in terms of the numbers. So we need to all gear up and see that the cake is also shared equally by the poorest of the poor. Insurance is now meant for the big companies, big ones who have some problems, export related issues. So it's a time for us to work on specifics of the tea garden and see in next 3 months, 4 months, we will be after Mr. Ghosh. He will be with you with the help of the DCs.
One more small thing I can say, sir, is that I look after this sector of skill building and also entrepreneurship development. Now, whether is it possible to have some youth as in the field of insurance in each tea garden, or we can be actually as agents or whatever to actually take forward the penetration. Like supposing in say in malls, we have 2-3 boys who can be designated as as this thing, so that in that mall all the others can be taken up. We can have some insurance kind of thing, so that we can. So basically, I can from my part I can do both entrepreneurship, employment, and skilling. If you provide me the window, so as to ensure the penetration in this sector.
We'll certainly try that out. In fact, for your ITIs and polytechnics, there is an Indo-German initiative, Ignite. Germany, as you know, is the best in the skill development for the industry-related skill development. So I will also give you the contacts. We have linked the industry with the institutes, the ITIs and the polytechnics to the industry by adopting them in their curriculum, their what is studied there, so that the students coming out of the ITIs and polytechnics also are industry absorbed, industry driven skill development, so that there is an assurance of employment after they complete. Such kind of things also can be tried out. Thank you so much, Kalyan, for giving that input. May I now invite Samir Parwaji. He is a very eminent expert on financial inclusion. No, I'm sorry, for the any banking and MSME sector, MSME committee of the Indian Chamber of Commerce, and he's also the mission director of UNCTAD for this particular project. Mr. Barwa.
Thank you so much. Really, I must thank ICC for inviting me also. And I'm having a difficult role in the sense I find that Mrs. Sava Sheikh is not here. Incidentally, I belong to the banking industry. I was with Indian Overseas Bank as a corporate general manager in Chennai. And on retirement, I come back. And the first thing what happened was Assam invited me for a high-level banking committee. They said our issue is that the credit deposit ratio is very low in the state of Assam. And I was shocked because 40 years back I was manager of the Universal Bank in Shillong. That was an issue which was discussed and we were fired by the chief secretary at the time. So that led me into research. I had gone through the entire process. And I had a word with the Deputy Governor of the bank, Mrs. Thora. I said that I would like to go into research. He said it's better to go into primary data than secondary data. Extensively traveled Assam, various districts in the rural areas. So I have first-hand information of what is happening. And consequently, that I had gone into the issues and challenges both before the entrepreneurs and also the issues and challenges before the banking industry. I was trying to build a bridge between them to develop. Now you had in your opening remarks you made a mention that you would like to hear from all of us. I would initially like to flag off for the government. I said government will have to have a dialogue with Reserve Bank in taking forward the subject of financial literacy on the mission mode. It is already on a mission mode for Reserve Bank of India. In Northeast context, and this is a very big issue because the awareness on banking, the awareness on financial literacy is very low. And consequently, you will be shocked to know that we are talking on MSME. Out of this MSME, the micro component occupies about more than 98% distribution. Out of this, 90% are still remaining in the informal or the unorganized sector. That's a challenge before us. Now, how is it possible for us to? Yes. How it is possible for us to take them to begin so that they can go from the subsistence level, they can upscale themselves from subsistence to commercial level. And now what is happening, because they are remaining in the unorganized sector, they are not able to raise finance from the organized banking industry. So that is a challenge before us where we will have to collaborate and find out. And Reserve Bank of India is already mandated. Madam Sarah would have been able to explain better. Reserve Bank has already taken the onerous responsibility of going ahead with the financial literacy mission on a mission mode throughout the country. And they have entrusted responsibility to all the commercial banks in order to see that they are able to go to the grassroots level and educate the people on financial literacy so that they are able to come out to the formal sector. I'm glad that in 2015, Government of India came out with the provision of RPL, that is recognizing prior learning, because we have realized that we have millions and millions of skilled workers in the country. But unfortunately, what is happening? They do not have any certification. At least for a simplified process on one-day basis itself, the certification process. But there also what is happening, the awareness is low. We are not going on mission mode. This is an area of concern for us. So where we have to see that how to, through the efforts of financial literacy, how. Now, another part of other thing is this, that there is a huge gap between policy and practice, loan policies and practices. The loan policies are framed and some of the best range goes into formulation of policies, and there is absolutely no fault in the policies. Policies are very proactive, pro people, pro activities, pro enterprise. But unfortunately, the practice, what is happening in our country, and more so in Assam or Northeast, the public sector banks, they have the total business is around almost 80%. They are holding total bank business of 80%, but the credit deposit ratio, as I said, is only hovering around 37%. That means the outflow of bank rate is very low, you see. On the other side, what is happening, the complaints that we receive from the entrepreneurs and we receive from the small time business people, etc., they say that when we go to a bank branch, we find that the bank managers are very reactive, they are not proactive. They're not wanting to find out, they're not really prepared to listen to us at what exactly are our problems. So this is an area where there is a lot of complaints are there. Third part of this is that on the collateral securities and all. Even though Government of India, Reserve Bank of India has specified very categorically that this is up to 10 lakhs of rupees, you should not insist upon the collateral security. You have to insist more on the primary security to find out the viability of the project and accordingly. But here also what is happening, bank managers are coming out with their own norms and regulations. In the process, what is happening, we are not able to do. So these are certain things which I thought that let me see, these are areas of complaint. What are the complaints that are there? Mostly, as I said, that there is a requirement of attitudinal change as far as the bank managers are concerned, more especially in Northeast.
because I have had the privilege of walking throughout the country, outside the country. I've come back here and I'm finding that I'm very shocked. Belonging to the banking industry, I'm very shocked to find that what is this type of attitude you are saying? Why you are not trying to help the people? You cannot get perfect sort of proposals, or you cannot just have a checklist and then see to it that all the checklists are fulfilled without trying to see that whether there is need for some customization of your loan products, the simplification of procedures. You'll be again shocked to know the savings account and current account, basic things people are not knowing. They are getting out business savings account, and consequently the banks are never taking in the credit appraisal mechanism. They're never taking into cognizance operations in the savings account for assessing the credit worthiness of the person. So these are certain basic things which needs to be addressed so that the people are able to get the benefit. I am again assuring that there is no dearth of skilled people in Northeast. People are very good, very docile, very simple. All that is required is that they require some sort of this soft handling. Yes, hand holding. So this is an issue where it is required. As I also said, that as far as the banking ombudsman is concerned, I think it's time for us to look into this aspect of it also. Because there are a large number of banks are nowadays they're finding it very easy to file a DRT case under their recovery challenge. Because with the NPA, as we all know, since 1990s, we come out with that income recognition and asset classification norms we have come into. And because of that, what is happening? 90 days, if it is not repaid, installment in interest, immediately classify the account to NPA. So once you classify the account to NPA, then you go into the SARFAESI Act and you go to a DRT. Now, DRT is the debt recovery tribunal. It is for the purpose of recovery. But then supposing there have been violations of Reserve Bank of India directives by granting of the loan itself is concerned, and when such matters are brought to the notice of Reserve Bank of India, or when you go to the ombudsman, they say, no, since the case is pending in DRT, we cannot do anything about it. Why? There can be hundreds and thousands of cases lying in the DRT, and they are taking their own time to decide upon this. That is a debt recovery tribunal. That is for the purpose of recovering the debts. But we are questioning the very sanctioning of it also. We are saying we have violated the Reserve Bank of India directive, we have brought cases. We have violated the basic condition. There at least you can look into, as far as DRT is concerned, we will handle it. From the industry association, we are saying that we will handle. Such matters we will handle. But in the meantime, why you are penalizing the customer? You are holding on to his properties for ages. He is not able to use the property for his other activities. He is not able to take advantage of the new opportunities that are coming forward. Holding the securities like that for ages, you are not releasing the security. Whereas the loan amount may have come down like anything. You have got a property of 1 crore and you have given a loan, and now the loan amount has come to 10 lakhs. Still, you are not giving the benefit of the property to the entrepreneur so that he can go ahead in his way. So these are certain issues which requires to be addressed. Banking ombudsman also, I believe that maybe, because I know that's a quasi-judiciary. Yes, it is necessary to find out why can't we take up such type of cases where it is lying pending in DRT. Who is at fault? Is the entrepreneur at fault? If the matter is they're going on taking dates, DRT, in the meantime the person is suffering. There's a losing confidence of the organized banking industry. Consequently, they again going back to the money lenders only. They find it more simpler. Is it this what we are looking for? I don't think we are looking. We are looking for formalizing things. We are looking that we want an unorganized sector to come to a formal sector. At the same time, they are able to get the benefits. And we know that the bottom of the pyramid, this fortune is lying there. All that is required is that we need to do the handholding, and at the same time, we need to address all the complaints that are there. And banking ombudsman, for example, they can also look into this and see that if there are DRT cases, yes, we can take if there are violations in the Reserve Bank of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Varua, for highlighting another very important sector, the MSME sector. To my mind, it is the second largest risk taker in Indian economy after the farmers. MSME sector provides employment to over 80% of the Indian workforce. They're also taking huge risks, unlike the big industries. So, but there is hardly any scheme of banks or the insurance which is catered to them. In spite of all the talk, Mudra and other, the pandemic time they came out with some policies, but it is really not catered to
A lot of
them.
customization is required. For example, current accounts, the banks definitely for Northeast should come out with a current account product with minimum balance of 1,000 rupees.
It has been brought to our notice by an MSME expert
Yes.
that plant and machinery is insured without even the customer knowing which company, where it is deducted at source. Yesterday we came to, a case was brought to our notice where a consumer who took housing loan, where maybe Mr. Somnath Ghosh will highlight that he was given an insurance policy forcibly without even his signature, based on some OTP. They ask, oh, you got some OTP, you tell us what is the OTP. Based on OTP, it is given. The person died and without the signature. He cannot claim the money. So such things are happening, and the unfair practices of the bank. There are very glaring cases where bank is helping the people.
Yeah.
Is helping the rich only.
So we are very fortunate that both of you are here.
Yes, we would like
And
to.
then you have given
Whatever-
us opportunity to spell out. We are talking on the critical areas at the grassroots level, where
Absolutely.
they do not have the capacity to come forward to you and then place their subjects before you.
Respond. You know, we are actually very fortunate to have Kalyanji with us. Kalyanji, you actually have that matchbox. Very prescribed.
We'll work together.
You see, what I want to tell I want to tell you only one thing. Whenever I am talking to the central government in Delhi, which I do very often, I am linked with Corporate Affairs Ministry, who have created a fund, again because of we consumers demanding for that fund, which is known as Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority. There's an authority as per law. That money belongs to you and me, which were lying with the companies, unclaimed money, which the companies were not giving. So what the central government wants from me is you keep traveling so many places. You tell state governments to come to us, like what you mentioned. And you mentioned about financial literacy, okay? They have funds which can be used for financial literacy. And the concept which is given me, and I've shared with Professor Dorando, who is our Vice Chancellor of Northeast Christian University. I'm part of his team as a professor R&D. You know, I'm attached already with Northeast through him. But Assam is the key mover. Key mover. Let's get that money to go for financial literacy for all your tea garden workers.
All the workers.
All the workers, number one. You see, it's going to be an innovative thing, because what that CEO of the authority told me, that sir, you keep adopting one village after one village in Northeast. First you declare one village fully financially literate.
So one
minute. The definition of financial literacy, let me explain to you, according to our Honorable Prime Minister, is you have a bank account. If you have a bank account, that means you are financially literate. Okay? And once you have a bank account, you are insured. At least for two products. One is life and one is accident. Earlier it was 12 rupees, the accident. It has been increased to 20 rupees. And life, which was 300, 100 and some rupees, 200, is now gone to 300. All my people who work with me, who used to take their salary by cash, I got them open a bank account. Now nobody takes cash from me. It all goes into their account. All goes into that account from my mobile. It goes every month. Tak, 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 sabke paas salary. So there's no check writing, nothing of that sort. I'm giving you a true example. Then I force them by convincing them, because I'm giving them that money. I said, you have to save at least 500 rupees from your salary every month to take these two schemes. One is accident, so that if you die by accident, your family will get 2 lakhs. And life insurance, when it gets matured, you'll get again 2 lakhs. Something like that. Well, I am still not clear about the figures, but they'll get some money. The family will get some money. And life is also insured, by the way. If you die in between, you don't have to pay any more premium, you will get the money. So my people, they started asking me, "Isse kya fayda?" The first thing people ask, everybody asks, I also ask, what will I get out of it? That is when we have to teach them what is insurance, the risk cover. But the truth will come in the taste of the pudding. Let's create examples in Assam where such people have got benefit out of these.
So I will just supplement to what you said. Thank you. Now time has come for asking them, do you have a current account? Account, financial inclusion. Current account is the bank, not current. Savings account. I am supplementing to what you are saying in the present context where we are transforming job seekers to job creators. In this context, I am saying there should be a massive campaign for creating awareness on the significance of a current account. All receipts into account, all payments to the bank account. The credit summation is the turnover. Turnover is the basis for any credit appraisal under the MSME sector. So now you cannot educate them, you cannot ask the chartered account.
We may be avoiding current account to avoid GST also.
But now in this days of digitization, वो दो नंबर ही बंद होना ही है होगा, because tracking and monitoring has become very easy now.
Savings account थोड़ा बहुत interest भी देते.
No, वो अलग बात है. That is for a household. No, let's understand. That is the household account for credit assessment. The banker will never take the operation in the savings account for the credit appraisal of his unit.
I see.
So these are two separate
not too
things.
well known. Yeah. I have worked in the industry sector for over 10 years.
Yeah.
The distinction is not very clear here.
Distinction is now.
Education of.
I will sit with Kalyan Chakravarti and then we'll work on this.
We have a few people waiting to join us virtually. We have a deputy director of the FSSAI, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, Mr. Krishnan, S. Krishnan, who will virtually join us. Is he there? Let us try out because he has some other engagement with things. Or should we go to the next speaker?
No, go to Krishnan.
Krishnan, if he's there.
Important for us. Krishnan, if you are there, unmute and come, please.
Very good afternoon to you.
Mr. Krishnan, good afternoon and welcome to this gathering.
Very good afternoon to the forum.
Yeah.
Joining from Calcutta.
Acha. On behalf of Mr. Krishnan.
No, I am Sumesh Krishnan.
Okay, right. I'm sorry. Because you said Calcutta, I thought you were based at Calcutta. Right.
I'm placed in Calcutta.
My apologies. Please go ahead. We are all eager to hear you. What?
I'm Deputy Director FSSCI. Now I'm placed in Calcutta and looking after the charges of Northeast region in respect of the licensing and other initiatives. And when we speak about the consumer awareness and the rights, I believe there are lots which is attached to the food business organizations or the food products that's available in the market. So FSSAI is basically a certifying or license issuing authority besides an enforcement agency to make sure that the products which are in the market or the services that are in the market, that's as per the standards. So when we speak about the responsibilities of FSSAI, we handle the whole food supply chain system, starting from the manufacturing to storage, sales, marketing, import, export. Everything is coming under the ambit of FSSAI's approval, whether that be license or that's registration. So we have set jurisdiction or the eligibility criteria for the state and central licensing. So now as we on behalf of the central FSSAI grant license or put enforcement or the surveillance activities on the product which are coming under our jurisdiction. So before we go into that, I would certainly would like to give an overview of the FSSAI's action areas or the responsibilities. And initially, when we speak about the licensing or the registration, it's a process which certainly apparently contains lots of documents that we need from the food business operators that we call as FPOs, where they have to abide by or submit the documents with respect to the suitability of that area or the infrastructure or nominating a suitable educationally qualified person to look after the operations. And this is a, I call the license as just a legal document so that they can start producing whatever the product they want to manufacture. But all these products doesn't mean that if they have a license, doesn't mean that the products are certified by the FSSAI. In fact, all these products are subject to surveillance or enforcement sampling by the FSSAI. So this we do on the basis of multiple attributes that we select on each of the product that's very distinct to each of the regions or the places. That can be either the eating habits of the citizens there, that can be the risk profile that we have assigned to the product, or that can be availability of the food over that market. And since when we do enforcement activities in Calcutta, what we mostly prefer to choose is the marine food, which is a major selling product here. If that is adulterated or a substance called formalin, overuse of formalin is prevented. And when we go to Bihar, we have a particular product which is more of manufactured or imported there, that can be either juices or the condiments. So this is the kind of profiling that we have assigned to the products. And when speaking about the authority, we draw the samples, and this is sent to the labs which are notified by the FSSAI as well as the NABL accreditor. And when we speak about, besides this, when we speak about the consumer awareness, there are something which the consumer have to be aware of. That is, they all have a right to take any product that they believe is not as per the standards set by the FSSAI, or if they have misrepresented the product on the label, or if they are claiming something which actually it's not, or if they are claiming something which is not natural but they're claiming to be natural. A consumer have a right to take that product and send to a lab which is empaneled by the FSSAI or NABL accredited. And if this product, and there are some analysis charges also which is attached to this, and lab certainly charges the person whoever draws this sample. And if this product is turned to be, or the food analyst at the lab terms opines that this food product is not as per the standards that is set by the FSSAI, this consumer whoever has taken the sample or bought the sample gets a reimbursement of his bill also from the FSSAI. Now I just want to tell how a robust the lab system helps the FSSAI to make sure that standards are set, and besides the consumers' rights and what they actually are supposed to get are protected. Now we have labs which are set all around the places, strategically placed, and these all have been NABL accredited for particular products and that parameters also. Like for water, for oil, we have some other standards, and we have for water some parameters, and other products, cereal products and juices. So everything have been defined as per the parameter that has been attached for analysis. So whenever these parameters are not met during this analysis, we send show cause notices, or the case is filed against adjudicating officer, who usually SDM of the district, or this goes to the court. So this all are the apparatus or the system that FSSAI has created to create a benchmark for the food business operators to ensure that they take care of the rights as well as the interest of the consumers, and they align their product as per the standards which have been set. Now, besides that, this is at product level, which I was mentioning that but FSSAI, we have set the system to ensure quality, wholesome, and safe food is available. Besides that, I would like to mention about some of the initiatives that FSSAI, besides being an enforcement authority, have introduced. That is partially, I believe, is connected to the consumers' awareness and rights also. And these regulations, which are even though regulatory, very regulatory required by the FPOs to follow, I believe this is more of ethical. That is, we have recently set a regulation which has already been rolled out, which says that any food business operators who use more than 50 liters of oil every day, I have to keep a account, and the transaction of this usage should be recorded in a register. And we have aligned with few of the aggregators. This is a part of the project that we have with the Ministry of Petroleum also. That's this used cooking oil. If that's used heated more than 2 times, that has a tendency to create a TPC, that is total polar content, which is if it comes more than 25%, the regulations demand that this should not be reused by the manufacturers. So how do we stop them? So we have multiple barriers here. One was creating an account which is transparent to make sure that this manufacturing units are not utilizing this oil, which is about 25% of the TPC. So what happens when we have oil which we consume again, which is more than 25% of the TPC? That this creates, this is a major reason for having the NCDs, which we find lifestyle diseases, or NCDs, which are more prevalent in the society, which I believe is, even if we go to hospitals, we find the patients of NCDs having more than in numbers than other casualty cases and trauma and road accident cases. So this was the checkpoint where we found, if we want to keep the society healthy, this was one of the major checkpoint about using.
Mr. Krishnan, can we have some questions on what you are saying?
Pardon?
May we have some questions on what you are saying? Professor Mishra, I wanted to ask for a minute.
Yeah, we missed you in person here, but doesn't matter. We can see you and we can see that smiling face, but now it's getting a little serious. You put a smile on your face. Yes. Yes, yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Krishnan?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead, sir.
Very good. Now,
even though voice is echoing for me, I'm trying to comprehend.
I could see that. Don't get worried. What I want to ask you is, you see, Northeast nodal officers of the states who look after the welfare of the states in the various states, the nodal officers don't seem to be active at all. How do you make them active? That's my first question, number one. Number two, I also have been observing that the common citizen is not aware about what you are just now narrating to us. So what you have narrated to us, we are fairly aware, but the common consumer doesn't know where to go, where to share their anxieties, how quickly and promptly they can be heard. What are you doing in that direction? We would like to hear from you quickly.
So for your 2 questions, I have 2 answers also very specifically. So for the nodal officer thing, what you are saying is, I am the nodal officer for you.
No, the state nodal officers.
Yeah.
See,
So
like the nodal officer in Assam, I asked him that in every district, I want a name from you who is a common consumer. He has not responded. Even to a letter sent by FSSAI, how do you wake them up? Now I want representatives in every village in Northeast who are common consumers who are purchasing your FSSAI logos marked products. Now, if they're buying that product where FSSAI is written and you are displaying a license number, how does a common consumer reach out to this network which we are trying to create? But we are not getting names. How do I get the names?
Precisely. So that's the point I'm coming to also.
Please.
So from the central FSSAI, I represent the Northeast region. Besides, I have some few officers also in Guwahati who represent the central FSSAI. And besides that, we work with the state government where we have state officers also who are reporting to the state food commissioner. It's a state food safety commissioner which every state have. So for activating this nodal officer or to communicate with them or to bring them on a common platform, the state food commissioner is the best person to coordinate with, sir. One is that. And second, regarding our initiatives that about reaching to the normal citizen, we have lots of initiatives which we usually disseminate through the IACs that we have. Besides, there are lots of advertisement which includes Virat Kohli and various celebrities and film stars to give an attraction to the initiatives what the FSSAI have conceptualized and implementing.
So Eat Right India movement which you have started, and there's a dedicated website called eatrightindia.gov.in.
Absolutely.
We can get huge amount of communicating materials from there. Have you done these communications in the language in Northeast, like in Assamese or in the other local languages in Manipuri? Has that been done? That is number one. Number two, the office bearers of Indian Chamber of Commerce are here in this round table, including Tarani, who is in charge and looking after our committee. We have an exclusive committee now under the Indian Chamber of Commerce for Northeast on food safety. Now, what I would like you to help us with is the names of those commissioners, their contact phone numbers, because many of their emails which we have got, it bounces. We don't even know, whether they're existing, not existing. So can you give us the latest functional email IDs and functional phone numbers so that Indian Chamber of Commerce can get in touch with all these states and get them involved? Thank you.
So
Thank you, Krishnan. I think we will ensure that both of you interact. One can understand the concerns of Professor Mishra. So it is a general concern. For instance, you said the fish, the aquatic marine products, the formalin free. How do you ensure that the fish is formalin free? You put a sticker on that, it's difficult. There are, of course,
no. That samples are drawn. We have specific quantity of each sample. That's we have stipulated 500 grams. So we take it in 4 samples.
Yeah.
And this is sent to the lab, and lab mechanically, and they analyze it through the high-end equipments which they have. So that's the way. It cannot be something which can be visually or physically done. So there are lots of
the number of issues, it's a huge area, so we would reserve that for question answer session. We have other speakers who are waiting to speak also. May I now request our insurance ombudsman, Mr. Somnath Ghosh, to highlight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
So, the respected guests, respected members of the chair, and I'm really grateful to Mr. Acharya, Professor Mishra, the ICC, for giving me this opportunity to address this August platform here. Friends, I know that there's a time limitations are there, but I have so many things to speak so much to share. So I would have loved to go on and on, but I will just keep it check, and I will try to make this small time allotted as fruitful as we can. We will try to share it. I will try to share this talk in these 3 parts, right? First is I will not load you with facts and with figures, because that will mean not much. But I will really try to adhere on the awareness part. First. Second is about the ombudsman, what and how. What are we doing and how we are doing. And third, of course, this is because this secretary sir is here. We will also try to concentrate on the Assam and the Northeast aspect. So I took charge of this ombudsman about 10 months back, right? And the first thing which struck me when I took charge is that, you see, annually this ombudsman is having 17 centers in the country. They settle about 40,000 complaints. I will not say claims, because when it comes to ombudsman, it is a complaint. They settle about 40,000 complaints, out of which Guwahati Center, which caters to the Northeast, is hardly 600 complaints. 600 complaints. I think sir spoke about the insurance penetration. It's very something linked to this, right? Now, I think I'm audible. Yes. Yeah. Insurance penetration for our country is about 3.55%, right? It's a world average is something 6, 7, something like that. In fact, we should compare ourselves more to the West. No? We should strive for higher. We should not compare to Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and all these things. We should compare to the West Europe, US, how it is there. It is even 10% there. When I say 3.55%, that would mean all the insurance products. Now, courtesy this tremendous stress on the PM on this health insurance, this trust, bima and all, we can say health, the penetration is more than 3.5. It's 4, 5, 6, something like that. Because this huge penetration of the Swast Bima, and what Professor study does not say, you open a bank account, you get a health insurance. So the penetration increased like that. Now, why the 600? I come back to that point. Why entire Northeast only 600 claims? So number one answer could be the penetration is less. The insurance is sold less, so there are less complaints, less claims. And number 2, it could be people are not aware. Ombudsman kya hai? Basically, I think this topic, I would have loved to have the banking ombudsman here. I have a lot of questions to ask to him. Why? Because while I settle an insurance complaint, you must be knowing, you walk into any bank, the officer or the official or the employee of the bank will try to sell insurance more than bank products. And 9 out of 10 times they will missell that. And when it comes to the ombudsman, right, the insurance company says it's the bank's fault. And the bank is not in my control. What do? I am telling one thing very clearly, please don't take it not otherwise. I have seen some persons who have come to me after having got a banking ombudsman award. Less I speak about that, it's better. The sort of award that he has got. Are you aware? I'm just giving you one example. Let's speak facts, right? I am giving you one example. A person was cheated. I will use that word. He was cheated. And the bank gives the order, Abhi usko, please don't press him with the loan right now. This is the ombudsman order of the bank. Please do not press with that loan. So I have a lot of things to share. Why don't you share with him? In fact, I will recommend to the IRDI sir here that when the bank is acting as a corporate agent, he should come under the purview of the insurance or ombudsman when he's selling an insurance. Friends, you create awareness by solving problems. Also, that is also a very important way. A customer, we have examples here. Some of my team members are here. You don't know how when we settle complaints, you can't even imagine the sort of expressions that they have. They have lost everything. Someone must have told him. Some advocate must have told him, "Wahan jao, kuch ho sakta hai." You come to an ombudsman. Just come to the office. You don't have to file anything. Just come and tell. We will take care. We will take care. That's the spirit. I will tell that. That's why I said that I can just go on and on.
Just cite a few examples that is clear.
Friends, there was this police inspector, right? He was in an election duty in Agartala, right? He had a life insurance claim. He had this bank, ECS, I will not tell the name of the insurer. The premium used to get adjusted from his bank account every month, right? He was paying every month. He was in a police duty in Agartala. He did not have access to all nets and all that there. 2 months, there was some error in the banking system. His ECS got bounced. ECS was not credited. I will not use the word bounced. The person dies in the election duty. Right? Claim is repudiated. It's lapsed because 3 years nahi hua tha. When it is not 3 years, the life insurance has a grace period, premium grace period is 15 days. If you cross 3 years 1 day, it becomes 6 months. Right? The claim got repudiated. Right? We had a hearing. And the reaction was such. Oh, sir, ये तो है, policy में lapse है, sir. Have you informed them? Have you told them that your policy is lapsed? The fellow, the widow who comes, she doesn't even know what to say. So I asked, "Aapke paas aur koi hai? Senior koi hai?"
He was trying on.
Yes. So some other person came, her in-laws, some. तो बोला सर ऐसा है, we are in such a remote place. कभी-कभी लाइट भी नहीं रहता है, कुछ भी नहीं है. ये है सर. ये तो banking every month. I asked, bring the bank statement. Bring. Every month it has been debited. Every month it has been paid. It shows a banking error. I say, how can you penalize him where it is not his error? It is not. You have to see the intent. Friend, when any complaint comes, we see the intent of that person. His intention was not to fault. His intention was not to pay. We not only in insurance, if the death is by an accident, you get twice the amount. Some of my team members said, "Sir, ठीक है उसको." I said, no. He used to get what an accident claim would get. We paid him the full amount. You just don't know how the reactions come. One lady had come, her husband expired same way. The investigator had come from the insurance company. He asked her, took money from them and asked her कि आप एक लिख के दो कि हस्बैंड का ये इलनेस था, तभी आपको क्लेम मिलेगा. Just imagine. They took her to a doctor nearby, wrote that, and then on the basis of that, the claim was repudiated. She comes here. For that, we have paid. I took up that matter with the CEO of the insurer, and I asked him, I wanted action taken report within 30 days from you. What you have done?
Punishment to the
He comes back within 30 days, within 25 days. He has some legal head came and said, "Sir, I was authorized by the CEO." And he says that, yes, we have suspended that investigator. Friends, suspension is not a point. Point is the message. That message needs to go. And
the first thing, friends, when I came into this, when I took charge of this, my complaint settlement is fine. Yeah, I can say this Guwahati center as on date, and that credit doesn't go to me, the credit goes to the team. We do not have a complaint outstanding beyond 30 days. And that is the standard. Mind you, we are not doing it on the end of 31st March. We are doing it day in and day out every month. That's what we are doing. So my first thing was not that was there because I saw the team is doing well. But how to make the people aware? I don't know how many of you would have seen. There was this my interaction at the Doordarshan. I got that immediately after my joining, and Doordarshan, as you know, has got a lot of reach in the northeast. Not in Guwahati, but actually, sir, we want. Actually, sir, we want this enlightenment not in Guwahati. We want outside. We want it outside. Tripura, Arunachal, and all these places. There are a lot of things which can be done, sir. So friends,
no, and you must tell them that it's all free of cost.
Yes, free of cost, and another very big thing. We do not allow any lawyer to enter. We do not allow any lawyer to enter. You don't know. I can just let you again. Because the ombudsman has a higher limit. In fact, some you have told me to increase this. We can settle a claim up to 30 lakhs. I have requested him to increase that to 50 lakhs. We had this claim, a CRPF boy, so here, from Kardia along this district. He died in a road accident. Insured. His father came, right? The poor man, when he came to the chamber of the hearing, he couldn't speak. He was not able to speak. फिर वो बोला सर बेटे का मरा हुआ पैसा के लिए हम दर we are going door to door. Then I asked आपके साथ और कोई आया है क्या? So yes, said my younger brother has come. So हम लोग उसको बुलाओ. Came. The insurance company representative taking very casually laughing. I gave him a tongue thrashing. I said, ये काम करते हो सर? इतना तारीख में हम लोग उसको ये चिट्ठी दिया था. ये 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 इतना के लिए वो नहीं मिला. And ये क्या है? CRPF के साथ through a bank. Again, I am not telling the name, and renowned PSU bank. उसके साथ I have with the insurance company. This poor fellow has submitted all papers to that bank, and that bank is supposed to give it to the insurance company. Well, हमको तो नहीं मिला, doesn't even check कहाँ आया, कौन ऑफिस में है. Within 7 days, 30 lakhs have to be paid. It was paid. So there are stories like that, but we want more stories.
I think, Mr. Somnath, we can understand your emotions.
Yeah.
We'll wind up. We will. Otherwise, we will go on and on. Yeah. We feel very emotional, rightly so. Absolutely. So that's what we told you. And mind you, for every case which comes to the ombudsman, there are thousands which don't come at all.
That's it.
There are only 600 in the entire region. That's why we wanted him to come and highlight.
For the customer.
Incidentally, I'm taking him to the chief secretary tomorrow to work out a strategy where we can together work out how to penetrate and create awareness on insurance. Banking next time बुलाएं, हमारा local standard नहीं है banking के लिए, insurance के लिए है.
I can tell this to the
your counterpart in this.
You can because this is fine. You can also, because the insurance companies are also there. There are 60 insurance companies in the country, and I would believe at least 50 are having their offices here in Guwahati. You can also contact them for sponsorship. They can sponsor your something elite like
they
that.
don't even display that as ombudsman. Banks at least display. So if you have a complaint, you go to ombudsman.
So you please.
Mr. Bose has very correctly stated that the insurance products which are sold by the bank, that should come under the insurance.
Yeah, this is one of our recommendations are there.
Bank is asking for more and more insurance.
So anyway, as you say, this is time limit.
Insurance products.
Correct.
Now, if there are some mis-selling.
Insurance related issues.
Mis-selling, then I think it should come to insurance.
Correct.
I just, sir, I
Why?
5 minutes. Like, as you know, health insurance is something which affects all lives, all. A common way of repudiating a health insurance claim is what? It is a pre-existing disease. It is called PED. It was there, you were suffering from this illness prior to the insurance, so which you did not disclose, so you will not get the claim. Let me make it very clear to you. First thing is that the insurance company should be having some document to prove that. What is that? That you have taken a treatment of the disease prior to your insurance, or you had undergone any hospitalization or surgery in relation to that prior to the disease. They can't just assume. You were talking of TPAs, huh? TPA is an agent of the insurance company. They have no power to say yes or no to your claim. Insurance company is the principal. So please don't accept what the TPA is saying. Right? That PED part is, at the same time, on the flip side, the customer must also be of integrity. Please disclose. Because it's a fact. Insurance companies are losing in health insurance claims. They are losing badly. So please also, if you have something, don't think that if you say, yes, I am a hypertensive person, you will not be insured. You will be insured. They may charge you more. But once the declaration is there, you are safe and sound, your claim will not be denied. Or when you go to your hospital, you ask for a cashless, you will be paid the claim. So please, we have found cases where people have not disclosed. It's a fact also. That's also a fact. So, number 2, for a customer, as I just now said, proposal form को OTP में किया है. Anyone tells you कि ये proposal form ये है वो है, no. हम पढ़ेंगे, देखेंगे. I just, in my house, an insurance person came, right, for health insurance. He did not know my designation at all. He said, sir, क्या है? हाँ ठीक है sir, ये सब हो जाएगा, insurance हो जाएगा. And ठीक है, you give me the form, I'll sign the proposal form. नहीं sir, वो तो OTP आया. No, I will sign the proposal form and fill up and sign. अच्छा, ऐसा है sir, okay. You open this bag, put up the form. So the person who tells it is on online, please no. If you ask for no, I will sign the proposal form. Please bring it. I'll fill up and sign. He is bound to give it. But we don't insist. We just go by what they're saying. And then he says, no, sir, aisa hai. Then I told, my wife was there. My wife told, he's an insurance ombudsman. Sir, yes, he opened the bag and put the form. So friends, you are a consumer, sir, Professor Mr. Consumer rights. You have a right to ask. You will not sign the form on behalf of me. I will sign my form. No OTP business. Nothing like that. वो नहीं चलेगा. हम sign करेंगे. वो proposal form, mind you friends, insurance is a legal contract, and the proposal form is integral to the contract. If you write anything false there, you will not get the claim. No ombudsman in the world will be able to help you. You have to be truthful to get the claim. Don't think of premium itna sa ye hoga. अब health insurance में chance you can quote. You can quote. बहुत सा क्यों quote करता है? वो 10% less करता है premium. Do you change your bank account? Please tell me. Do you change your bank account? Then why you change your insurer? Don't. Please don't quote. This is my advice to you as an ombudsman. It doesn't help you. Paying 10% premium less and then not getting a claim of 5 lakhs, which is better. Please don't do that.
It's not like a mobile number.
Absolutely. So disclosure is there.
mis-selling. We have got, and I asked them when they come, engineer in state government, officers, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी क्यों लिया? वो बोला हमको बोनस मिल जाएगा. कितना परसेंट? 50%, 100%. बोला you are an engineer. Not only in India or Assam, world में कुछ है जो 100% रिटर्न देता है? नहीं सर, अभी तो I am getting to understand that. This is greed. We call it mis-selling. We call it mis-selling. अरे insurance company का fault है. Is it not greed? Is it not greed of the customer? Why is falling for that trap? And then says, अभी हर साल हमको 5 लाख रुपया प्रीमियम हम नहीं दे सकते. प्लीज सर आप रिफंड कर दीजिए, हम रिफंड कर दीजिए. कैसे होगा? We try to find ways out, but please don't fall into greed. What I tell, आपका डाउट है ना, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी का ऑफिस तो है, वहां जाइए ना. You go there and ask. ये ठीक है. So this much I will say, and as Secretary Sir said about the Assam part and the Northeast part, lot of things can be done. You just not say I just took down some notes. Unorganized sector is 90%. That is the sector where insurance needs to be spread.
Okay, thank you, Somnath Babu.
Thank you, sir.
We will thank you for the very passionate plea on betting.
Is it? Oh, thank you very much.
He needs to go for another meeting.
Before he goes, small request.
Yes, Professor Vijay Mishra sir would like to hand over his obligations to the principal secretary. Yes, just go to that side.
That's a regular. He doesn't leave anyone
because you see, he's our brand ambassador.
Yes, he's the gateway to the Northeast.
You see, every month we bring out a publication on some critical issue, which is confronting the country. So we will be very happy to carry your interview in one of our issues, which you tell us. For consumer, please cover this subject. And we would like to carry your interview. So, sir, let's give them one.
Thank you. We would like to thank Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, Principal Secretary, Labor Medical Department, for joining us once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we are slightly behind schedule as we started late also. We will quickly, my apologies for making Mr. Hazarika wait on. No. So he is very eminent person here and represents the ICC Northeast Council on Education Committee.
So I think as a consumer awareness,
he is speaking here as a consumer activist. So Hazarika, please, the floor is yours.
In the field of education also, I think consumer awareness is very much essential, especially since the government is virtually abdicating its responsibility in providing education. And they call it privatization. But one thing you must remember, you see.
In fact, if I can tell you, we are already suffering to a great deal in privatization in southern states.
Yeah.
Telangana is one of the worst victims.
Yeah.
Health and education, the worst victims of privatization.
No, because you see, we must understand, it is not privatization. That's what I'm trying to say.
Abdication. That is the right word.
Education in India has developed mainly through private effort. Like say, you see how education spread to deep areas through the missionaries, through the Ramakrishna Mission schools, for example. These are all private initiatives, you see. But this, the private government is saying nothing. Commercialization of education, you see, this is education is being commercialized, and when education is treated as a commodity, the people who are buying this commodity, they are consumers. And today I will tell you the intensive suffering that these consumers are having.
because of mis-selling, the excessive precision, and another racket that is coming and through this education technology firms that are coming in. You know what is happening, I think all of you might have read about what is happening to firms like Byju's. And I think the various consumer forums
Please check your video. It's ducked.
how it should be. Definitely. In fact, see, this is the biggest tragedy, I think. Education was a state subject. There's only 70 that some part of it was making the concurrent list. But unfortunately, in states like Assam, it has completely subsumed itself to the central thing, The day anything was passed. No, you see, but what is happening with the result, the state is, in the regulatory aspect, the state is hardly involved,
First, we have to sit down and make a draft law.
Yeah.
There are laws in other states. There
are hardly any regulation.
There are committees appointed by regulators, high court judges are appointed, but it lacks the teeth. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, Doesn't work. That's what I'm trying to say. See, so I think the consumer.
It's a loot of the parents by the private sector in many states.
70 of ICC.
Yeah.
Why don't we form initially to draft that law?
Virtual screen.
Unfortunately, state government doesn't have any clear thinking on education. That's not the biggest problem. We will do that, but I thought, I won't take much.
Look at the Delhi model if possible. Delhi has revamped education. I mean, we have one of our senior colleagues from the Ombudsman's office whose son has just joined a Delhi school. I was asking him, how come a boy from Assam or from Bengal joining Delhi school itself is a big achievement. It's attracting talent from all over India.
Yeah. So I won't take much time. I think this was the thing that education sector, I think consumer awareness really becomes very important, and all the authorities, etc., really must keep this into mind. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Hajar. It's a very important area, and you must work on this. We are lucky that Mr. Opak Gao from Arunachal Pradesh has been able to join us now. He couldn't join in the morning as he was away for a meeting. We welcome him and request him to speak on this consumer awareness. Mr. Gao.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
I'm sorry, I was engaged with some other officers.
Please go ahead. In fact, we need your help for studying. We need your help in studying insurance and the banking knowledge. Our ombudsman will contact you, insurance ombudsman. Okay, he will contact you. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Sir, while talking about Arunachal and then regarding what you have pointed out, I have got nothing much to share. Only simply what I would like to highlight is that in my state, in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, regarding Consumer Protection Act of 2019, we have the State Commission and we have 23 District Commission, all are functioning, but in the state there is a problem regarding appointment of president, because appointment of president is concerned the prescribed criteria, that is educational qualification was of minimum retired High Court judge. So we have plotted a lot of advertisement twice in online applications were invited, and unfortunately we do not get applicants for the post of president, and as such in the State Commission as of now we do not have the president. And in this regard, sir, there was Supreme Court cases were also there, and then the cases in the state of Arunachal is very minimal, and as such there was an opinion from the Supreme Court also that in case if there is no president in the state of Arunachal, and whether neighboring states or any other state president can also take over and look after the problems of Arunachal. That was the part of the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. Then, sir, this morning, sir was talking about this consumer welfare fund. In this regard, what I can say is that Arunachal being a hilly state, we have been given some special consideration. So, as such, consumer welfare fund, our state government, the funding pattern was 10:90. So 10% state matching share has been given to the state government, given to us by the state government. We have parked in the bank account, and we are yet to receive the central share. So as a whole, we are supposed to get a total of 20 crores, out of which 2 crores have already been credited to the account by the state government, being the state matching share. And the remaining 80% central share is yet to be received, and we are expecting that this may be given to us within a period of 2 to 3 months from the government of India, and then on getting this fund and the interest accrued that will be utilized for the welfare of the consumers. Then, sir, regarding Consumer Protection Council, we have already processed the file last year and prior to that, but because of the COVID pandemic, the thing could not be materialized. But now it is in the final stage and is under submission to the government of Arunachal, and then we will be issuing notification for constitution of this Consumer Protection Council, both in the state as well as in the districts. Then, sir, mediation cell is concerned, we are yet to notify it, but we will be notifying it early for constitution of mediation cell in the state of Arunachal Pradesh and in the district commissions. Then, sir, we have our state consumer helpline. It is functional, and but there is a less complaint. We receive very negligible complaint in the state of Arunachal. Exactly, it may be because that despite our various programs launched for the awareness of the consumers, but maybe consumers are not coming forward. As such, this may be the reason for less receipt of the complaints in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. And then, sir, we are also introducing this e-filing of complaints from the consumers, and then as I have already told, the response is very less in my state, in the state of Arunachal. That is one part. Then, sir, beyond this, if I can be given hardly 2 minutes, it may not be very relevant, but sir, I want to say is that we are also a consumer. All of us are consumer. We are giving a lot of awareness to the consumers. And while coming back to ourselves, sir, in various unorganized sectors like agricultural, farm products, and then poultry, and then fishery, sir, हम क्या करते हैं? We also used to purchase a lot of non-veg items and as well as veg items. So in the market areas, especially vegetables are concerned, whenever we used to brought it to our own kitchen, then while slicing, say for example tomatoes, or while slicing say cabbages, lot of chemical ka ghanju aate hai. Directly or indirectly, we are also consuming such type of chemicals indirectly.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ram. All of us are victims of that the residue, pesticide residue on vegetables. All of us, those who buy vegetables outside. Thank you so much. We are a little short of time. We need to quickly wind up. Please wind up. All of us suffer from that issue of chemical pesticide.
Sir, just I was thinking that
please
whether there can be some mechanism or some suggestions from us as to curtail such type of things. Say, for example,
Maybe we suggest that to FSSI, they were like they're doing for formalin for the fish, they can do something for the chemical residues on the vegetables.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. You are from which batch, Mr. Gao? Which batch of IAS? Which you?
I am of 2009 batch. I am only an inductee only, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All the best. All the best.
Thank you.
We are coming to the close of this session. There are a few virtual speakers. We'll try if they join us. We'll give them brief interventions of 2 minutes each. Mr. Sunil Saraf, who is there joining us. From which place is he joining? Okay, Mr. Saraf, are you there? Sunil Sarafji, Tourism Hospitality Committee. Mr. Dheeraj Thakuria. Dheeraj Thakuria. Both are not there. Otherwise, we'll wind up. Mr. Sunil Saraf, are you there? Okay, he's not there. Anyway, we are overshooting our time for lunch, so all of us are hungry. I will request thoroughly to wind up the discussions and the last words. A vote of thanks if you want to. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, and the dignitaries present over here, with this, we come to the end of today's roundtable discussion. It was a very much impactful discussion wherein we have got the inputs, valuable inputs from different. Yes, sir.
I would want Meenakshi to give a feedback on how you felt the roundtable was. Can you give us some feedback?
Yeah, before I conclude, I'd like to request Ms. Meenakshi to kindly share your feedback. Can somebody pass the mic, please?
Just a quick feedback. You've been there right from beginning till now.
What more you not put to sleep or?
No, not at all. It was
and you're
very much
speaking on behalf of many people who are watching.
Absolutely, I think it was the seminar itself was very exciting and lot of information from all stakeholders concerned. I think the most important part was that the civil society, the regulators, lawyers, educationists, everybody is here, and I think we should build up that a mechanism to take it forward, and of course the consumer awareness both in the services as well as in the goods sector. Goods sector would include, of course, food, garments, everything, and services as well. Insurance, banking, education. So how do we take it forward is the main concern here, and I think consumer awareness from whatever labeling, advertising, what papers, what information the consumer should consume, and how can they actually process it. So I think a mechanism has to be built in that respect, and awareness spreading programs should be built up.
I will connect you to gentlemen who drafted the MSNE Act. One Professor Yaram Nadu is there in Hyderabad. With the previous government, he got it drafted. We will tell you that. Okay. So through Professor Mishra, I will pass on the details, or to thoroughly you can pass on. You can contact him. He's an expert on this. He wrote something on the MSME sector in credit. Recent article in Economic Times. I will also pass on.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you once again. So with this, we come to the end of today's roundtable. We have got valuable inputs from all the sectors, starting from health, banking and MSME, education, handicap, and all the sectors we are dealing with. And we have got the valuable inputs from the regulatory authorities like IRDAI, then like FSSAI, then Insurance Ombudsman, and Indian Direct Selling Association, and many others. So the discussion has been very much impactful. So on behalf of the Indian Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank all the dignitaries present over here who has made this discussion fruitful. So thanks to all the speakers. I would like to thank Professor Bijan Kumar Mishra sir for taking the leadership basically from the Food Safety and Consumer Protection Committee of Indian Chamber of Commerce. With his support, we could conduct this program very much successfully. I would like to thank Mr. B.P. Acharya sir for traveling from all the way from Hyderabad, and he took the pain to come to Guwahati and to he has chaired the session and moderated the session to make everything so easy for us to understand. Thank you so much once again, sir. I'd like to thank Dr. Dardal Lokhate, who has traveled all the way from Dimapur. So and I would like to thank every one of you, all the speakers, all the respected speakers who has shared their valuable inputs today. And I'd like to thank all the participants who has made this program successful by joining us. And I would like to thank Every India Enterprises Private Limited and Patient Safety and Access Initiative of India Foundation for supporting us to conduct this program very successfully. And I would also like to thank the media partners who have joined us. And last but not the least, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us, for supporting us, for helping us to conduct this program successfully. So with this, I'd like to thank on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, every one of you. Thank you. We are proceeding ahead for the lunch, so requesting all of you to kindly join us in the dining hall for lunch. Thank you so much.
Stop.
Yes, correct.
Aquí se ve que